Yo, this is Afro, a.k.a. All Flows Reach Out, and you're listening to Built for This Network. Yes, sir. From the building, stay bomb.
Yo, this is Big Illinois 73. I want you to tune in to the Backyard Podcast Music Sessions, Friday nights, 10 p.m. Central Time, on the Built for This Network, on the Spreaker.com. Check us out. Hit the like button, subscribe. Peace.
West, y'all. Bang, bang.
Throw them W's up. West Side Wednesdays with your boy, D Greatest from South Central. Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. X-Cloud Online Radio Network. iHeartRadio. Spotify. TuneIn. Apple Podcasts. Google Podcasts. We got more.
He's the best in the NFL there is today.
And Peyton's got the first down. Look at him run across the 40. Peyton.
Peyton still on his feet. Walter Payton, look at this kid play football. Isn't he something? He is literally astounding.
Legend, warrior, sweetness. 3 words to describe Walter Payton. Arguably the greatest running back of all time. But consider these 3 words. One-man band. Payton was just that in 1977, carrying the Chicago Bears in perhaps the greatest single season a running back has ever had. The term workhorse doesn't begin to describe number 34's impact in 1977. In his 3rd season, Payton had an NFL high in carries, yards from scrimmage, yards per carry, and touchdowns. Not to mention taking home league MVP honors. From the first quarter of the first game, Sweetness was the heart and soul of this team.
Peyton, a tough guy, Tom. He's as tough as any running back in the league.
He's got the quickness. He's got the lateral movement. He's just a complete football player with a great attitude, and he's the kind of guy you want on your team because he's going to produce.
Second down, 7, a delay to Peyton. 30, 35, look out. He may go to the 40, to the 30. Walter Payton down to the 20. Walt Williams is trying to get him, and he's got him just inside the 5-yard line. Walter Payton, what explosion up the middle that was.
Here's the case for Payton. No running back has ever had to carry more weight in a single season. Chicago was the 3rd youngest team in the league, without an offensive starter older than 27. Third-year head coach Jack Pardee came into the season winning just 11 of his 28 career games, and would be gone at season's end. And their pass attack? Forget about it.
Avellini falls down. He's in trouble. Well, he gets up somehow. I don't know how. And is picked off by McCoy.
Intercepted. Jim Merlot picks it off. He returned 2 for touchdowns last year. He's going to get his first this year. Guys closing in on him, but Merlot goes into the end zone for a touchdown.
The Bears ranked 21st out of 28 teams in passing that year, while quarterback Bob Avellini threw for just over 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 18 interceptions. Avellini had 4 games with 5 or fewer completions in 1977. So the defense had to be stellar, right? Not quite.
Dan Pastorini. And he goes long, and he's got Burrow. Burrow is protected. 85 yards for a touchdown.
How about special teams?
Having some problems as of late. He's hit 3 of his last 10. We've got some problems. Vince Evans in trouble. Freddie Carr's got him. Oh, did Freddie Carr deposit him?
It helped having Payton on kickoff returns.
Walter Payton's got it on a short kick. Look out, 25. He may go all the way. Marco's over there. He can't get him. And he's run out of bounds inside the 20-yard line.
Sweetness did it all for these Bears, without the luxury of a dominant O-line. In fact, none of Chicago's 5 starters on the offensive line made a Pro Bowl. I'm not talking about 1977. I mean ever. Let's take it a step further. The Bears had just 2 starters besides Peyton to ever make the Pro Bowl, and they both played in the secondary. So with all 11 defenders geared on containing number 34, Peyton had to run for his life.
Avellini in the flat goes to Walter Payton. He's a tough guy. Look at Walter Payton.
It's Walter Payton who makes the reception. And him and open field at 0-1. Payton. Oh, Payton still on his feet. It's Walter Payton.
Avellini to Payton. Look at him jump around, would you? And he made a play that looked like a long loss into about a yard gain.
Even with the addition of offensive coordinator Sid Gilman, a legend in his own right, who won an AFL championship throwing the ball all over the field in San Diego, Party's mission was clear. Run, Peyton.
Walter Payton on the drop play. Away from one man. Payton around to the outside, and look out for Payton.
Look at that run. Payton's going to take it in for a touchdown. He's had a lot of great runs. None any better than that.
And when they did find Peyton in the passing attack, it wasn't always pretty.
Avellini has got Payton open, and Payton's got it. Payton's going to score. Walter Payton from Bob Avellini.
Peyton's 16 touchdowns in 77 may not seem like a huge number in today's fantasy football era. But consider this. Those 16 scores accounted for 55% of Chicago's offensive touchdowns. With the Bears struggling along at 2-4 and a road trip to Green Bay looming, Peyton put the team on his back, setting a then-career high in rushing yards.
Second down 5, Peyton, and Peyton's got the first down. Look at him run across the 40. And Walter Payton, who may carry the ball 30 times before the day is over, is impressive. Up the middle, here comes Peyton. To the 45, he may go. He's to the 35, the 30. Walter Payton is cut off. Avellini, here comes Peyton. And Peyton is in for the touchdown.
Unbelievable. This stadium is very quiet, and they're just kind of watching Peyton in awe.
We're just getting into the thick of ours, and the guys are really coming around, so we still got a chance. Don't count the Bears out.
2 weeks later against Kansas City, Sweetness led the Bears to a 17-point comeback victory, amassing 221 yards from scrimmage and 3 touchdowns. In Week 10 against the Vikings, Chicago witnessed the original flu game. Battling illness on a frigid afternoon, Peyton delivered his signature performance.
Inside handoff, big hole. Payton up the middle to the 50, cuts to the outside of 45, tripped up. Sliding to the right side, and pops out of the 30 to 35 to 40. Following his blockers, trying to turn the corner to the right side, gets in for the touchdown. They've been going to Peyton all day. Bob Avellini has passed the ball only one time, and that was to Walter Payton on the flat. To give to Walter again. Breaks to the outside of the 40, to the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40. He's down to 5-yard line. He's got 2 in the beat. This backfield, Avellini to Payton on a sweep to the right side. Needs a block. Walter Payton becomes the all-time single-game rushing leader in the NFL.
The Bears were 8-5 entering the final game of the season. A win against the Giants would send them to the postseason for the first time in 14 years. 199 yards would give Peyton the single-season rushing record. Problem: ice. Lots of it. Sweetness had no chance for the record on a Meadowlands playing surface that doubled as a winter skating rink. With both teams battling the elements in almost 5 quarters of action, Peyton came through with Chicago's Cinderella season on the line.
Coming was Kelly, and he got the pass to Peyton. And Peyton is still in bounds before he is knocked down by Carson. 30-yard field goal is up. Good! The Bears win! And the Chicago Bears have won the wild card with 4 seconds left to go in the season.
A week later, though, the class of the NFL and eventual Super Bowl champion Cowboys trounced Chicago's overachieving group in a 37-7 demolition. Peyton was held to just 60 yards on the ground. Okay, so you've heard the case for Peyton's 77 campaign. Who else is in the pantheon of all-time greatest seasons by a running back?
He's got it, and a brand new single-season rushing record.
Charger fans are witnesses to history!
Eric Dickerson and LaDainian Tomlinson still hold the single-season record for rushing yards and rushing touchdowns, respectively. Nobody's gained more yards from scrimmage than Chris Johnson in 2009. And O.J. Simpson was the first to ever hit 2,000 rushing yards in a season.
He's going to score! Touchdown, Cowboys! A 60-yard ramble by Emmitt Smith!
Emmitt Smith scored 25 touchdowns in 1995. Jamal Lewis had his own 2,000-yard season in 2003. That same year, Priest Holmes set a then record for touchdowns in a season. Then there was Shaun Alexander, who won the MVP in 2005, leading Seattle to a Super Bowl. Outstanding seasons, sure, but Peyton didn't have Larry Allen, Jonathan Ogden, Will Shields, or Walter Jones to run behind.
TD running like a possessed man. Breaks a tackle. He's got it. There it is.
In 1998, Terrell Davis hit 2,000 yards on the best team in the league. Marshall Faulk caught 81 balls and scored 26 touchdowns in 2000, taking home MVP on the Greatest Show on Turf Rams. But compare Bob Avellini to John Elway and Kurt Warner. Come on. Jim Brown's most productive season came in 1963, with over 1,800 yards rushing for a strong Browns team. Marcus Allen won league MVP in 1985, averaging 28 touches per game. And Barry Sanders was on a path of destruction in 1997. There's Adrian Peterson's comeback campaign in 2012, which saw him reach 2,000 yards a year after tearing his ACL. But as great as those seasons were, Brown, Allen, Sanders, and Peterson were all part of good teams featuring multiple Pro Bowlers. The same cannot be said for Sweetness, who was the sole reason the 77 Bears made the playoffs. In the ultimate team sport, he was a one-man band in every sense.
Baseball, basketball, or whatever. As I stated, this is the End of the Bench podcast. Thank you for tuning in. It's been real. It's going to be real, and it continues to be real every week. Thank you for the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are coming live and direct again. You cannot miss my show. Thank you for tuning in, but you cannot miss my show. You can catch me live on Spreaker.com, Built for This Network, or you can go to YouTube and get the visual as well. Thank you. Now, with that being said, I have my co-host Joe from Houston. Thank you for being a part of the show. What's good, Joe? Talk to me.
Chilling wonderful. Welcome to the show. I had a wonderful weekend. Like you said, sports has been a great one. Time to get to it.
All right, man. Well, you know what? Let's jump right on. Let's just jump right on top of it. The NCAA tournaments are something that a lot of people are worried about right now. We're looking at situations to where as young people are about to potentially put their lives in danger. When you are about to put your life in danger, you're not getting paid. A lot of people ask the question, should the NCAA tournament, even though we love it, we enjoy every minute of it, it's one of the most exciting periods in sports every year, should we be in a situation to where as these kids are putting their lives in additional danger by using the conference tournaments? For those who don't know what a conference tournament is, when you're dealing with basketball, this is called March Madness. March Madness is when everything is focused on college basketball. All eyes are on college basketball. You have the regular season. That means a lot in college basketball. You have to put yourself in a situation to whereas you can be ranked accordingly. And then they have college conference tournaments. Conference tournaments traditionally either A, puts a team in the NCAA tournament, or B, finds out where you'll be ranked in the NCAA tournament. Should there be conference tournaments? How do you feel about that? If you were in charge, what would you do, Joe? I'm listening.
Man, it's a sticky situation because as far as it goes, we all say we love it. It's an exciting time of year, so March Madness, as a fan of me, I say all the go. But if I'm the head of this and I'm need to be responsible for this, I gotta shut that down. We all know that that the situation is real. In regards to this, there's no reason to put these students or these athletes, these young people, in more danger. Like I said, as much as we love it, as much as we want to see it, they're not paying the kids. It's easy to tell, professional athletes go out there and possibly, catch up or whatever, because you do have the means or the money to try and get help. But now if you're not paying these kids in college, why are they putting the extra stress on themselves?
Well, me personally, I see it totally different. I think the conference tournaments are a way. I mean, since we have online learning and things of that nature, I think conference tournaments would be an excellent way to conduct this thing. It would be reminiscent of the bubble in the NCAA. The NCAA bubble controlled opportunity for the virus to spread. We don't know where the virus comes from. We don't know how people are contracting it. We don't know anything because this is a brand new situation. This isn't even a year old, right? So when you're looking at something that's not even a year old, and the last time you had a basketball tournament, you put yourself in a situation to whereas everybody participating was in this one area, and the NCAA has the ability to do that. It's in the ACC, they usually have it at the Dean Dome. I'm sure the SEC, they have it somewhere. The Big Ten, they have it in Indianapolis. I don't know where they do it in the Pac-10 and all these places. You can centralize this, and with online learning, I think you can put yourself in a situation to whereas this can A, be extremely exciting again, and B, reduce the risk. The NCAA tournament, like the NBA situation, puts you in an instance whereas the kids may be more protected, and the people may be more protected. So when you have the kids and the people more protected, you put yourself in a wonderful situation. And we've seen this model work with the NBA. We've seen the bubble work. So with the NCAA, I think this is an opportune time to test things out and put things in perspective, reducing risk. Because look, you only have to clean one stadium. You have dozens and dozens of teams coming in and out. You have people going right back to their room, people to get back to their studies or watch the games or what have you. I think this may be the most successful way to do it, because if you're doing it that way, you're not going to have people, you could potentially not have people sick. And the goal is to reduce illness as much as possible. And this new normal, we're trying to obtain new normal. And what a way to start the new normal. It's no better way to start the new normal by putting these kids in a bubble. Again, academically, you won't struggle. physically you won't struggle potentially, and you'll be putting these kids in the best possible situation. I love it. But I mean, to each his own. That's how that's the beautiful thing about the world. Everyone has their own opinion. Everybody sees things the way they see it. And you move forward. But me personally, even if it was my kid, and that's the barometer I do use it by. If this is my kid, I really wouldn't worry. At this point of the year, I'm not worried about the virus, because hell, if you let your kid play up until this point, it's not really what you're scared to death anyway. So I would do it. A lot of people wouldn't. But I mean, again, this is the world we living in. The next thing I want to bring up is something that seeing how college basketball is one of the few sports that still your coach largely impacts what's going on. When you have the Dukes and the Carolinas and the Kentuckys who are struggling, should they be allowed to be in the NCAA tournament? Those three powerhouses and traditional juggernauts in the tournament. Do you want an NCAA tournament without them? Or if some teams, and like Duke women's basketball team, they said, we ain't playing no basketball this year. We ain't going anywhere. We gonna protect our players. And again, this is preference. The Duke's men ball team, they playing and they like, hey, it is what it is. Would you want to see a tournament without those fat cats because their record's not good enough?
It takes it back to how we said it about Ohio State in the national football. When we said they had prerequisite games and stuff like that, but this is kind of something different. But if you don't have the record to get in, can't get in. I mean, it's been time throughout the years. I mean, granted, it's never been a time where all three of the powerhouses, like that you're referring to, that have been going. But I'm really gonna see being in the NIT. You know, it might have been a year or two, but it was there. I mean, if you don't make it, you don't make it. So as far as it goes, it's gonna be a hated tournament without it. Without them, but they didn't make it back.
Well, me personally, I see it a little different. I would, because of the way coaches impact the college basketball game. You can coach your way. Like, one of the things about college basketball, as the year wanes, you can start off horribly and the year wanes. Coaches will make a difference. It's a good chance that either Coach K or Coach Cal can get their teams to the NCAA, to their tournament championship, and then they get in. You're younger than me, but you don't realize the fact that Jim Valvano, his one and only run to a national championship, I think he was under 500. He coached his way through the ACC championship, and when he did that, he coached his way to an NCAA championship. I personally would like to see it because there's going to be some teams that say, look, health is more important than these games. We're going to put ourselves in a situation to where as we win. And when you do that, it makes the NCAA tournament even more exciting. It's been time and time again I've seen average teams in the regular season hit that tournament and take off because it is about adjustment. It is about making hay when everybody thinks you can't. Coaching is paramount in college basketball. It used to be like that in all sports, but more than anything, it's systems being run, it's unfamiliarity, and coaching will get you through that. Quality coaching, 99 times out of 100, will get you through that. So, me personally, I think that may be the move for college basketball. Like if it was in NBA and it was a subpar team, when you bat an NBA, no amount of coaching is going to get you past that. But when you bat an NCAA, like college, football, or basketball, personally, I believe coaches get you through those hard times no matter what's going on. It's just me. I'm old school. I'm a stickler for old school. I never want to change it. I don't even want it to change because, in my personal opinion, college football, college sports, college coaches are hired to become legends. And in professional sports, it's almost like an hourglass. They just waiting on you to be fired. I don't want the tournament to change. I don't want to put somebody where they don't belong. But if this is one of those few instances, I'll go along with that. The ACC announced their schedule this week, their football schedule. They announced it without Notre Dame. Notre Dame played the ACC schedule last year due to the pandemic. And when you announce your schedule due to the pandemic, you run into issues that may come about. You know, where's Notre Dame? Notre Dame has been an independent my entire life. What are your thoughts on Notre Dame being an independent, and what do you think should happen?
Right.
Should they have stayed? Should they have forced the issue? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, more so, I think since they try to force the issue, but as you say, we don't really care for Notre Dame around these parts. You know, a lot of people in the world do, but we don't care for Notre Dame in this household, the Williams household. But as far as it goes, do what you got to do. If that's the way your administration feels in regards to trying to put you out and make you independent, that's what you got to do. I have no Notre Dame.
Oh, it's just an interesting situation. I thought they would stay. You know, seeing how we're not out of the pandemic yet, it is not a situation whereas it's done. I would assume that they would have stayed, because at the end of the day, college football, college athletics is it's about money, and you will make a ton of money. Notre Dame makes a boatload of money, being an independent, and making that much money being an independent. You can understand why they wouldn't want to leave, but it's just interesting that they only was there for a year. Everybody kind of knew that they were leaving because that's what Notre Dame does. Right. But personally, I don't think Notre Dame would get another shot at the national championship until they go into a division. This is the way we're running college athletics now. The Power 5 conferences run the world. The NCAA is being run by the Power 5 conferences, and if you're a part of a Power 5, you will be in control. If you don't join a Power 5 conference, unless the only way you may not get a shot, unless the unique situation is Notre Dame. I think they re-signed the contract with Michigan, and I think they will never end at USC and at Stanford. If the Pac-10 returns, then their schedule may be tough enough to withstand being independent. I don't know how long this is gonna last. They raking their money hand over fist. They don't want to split the NBC money. The SEC money may not have been the way it should be, but it's just gonna be interesting because if they don't join the conference, I really don't see them doing anything besides being Notre Dame, and that name carries weight. You know, this is Notre Dame, the New York Yankees, the Dallas Cowboys, and a few other teams throughout sports, the Dodgers. Well, actually, I've never heard anybody not like the Dodgers, but unless you were a direct rival, when you are Notre Dame, the Yankees, the Cowboys, people either don't like you or they love you. There are very few people in the world that are indifferent. Hey, you like the Yankees? Not really. No, I don't. Oh, yeah, I like the Yankees. Or the Cowboys are the same way. Notre Dame's the same way.
I love the Yankees.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things. It's gonna be interesting because if you can make it to the playoffs in the midst of a pandemic, they may be bringing some of that luster back to Notre Dame. I don't know. I don't really keep up with Notre Dame because I'm not a fan at all. But it's gonna be interesting, man. Before I go to the next topic, I want everybody to know this is Built for This Network. This is the End of the Bench podcast. We are on YouTube presently. I'm going to put the link in the Spreaker.com chat room. So if you want to come over and if you want to join the show, there's a link in the byline on YouTube. And if you click that Lakers, thank you, Chief Rocker. Thank you. My man, number one, Chief Rocker, Tracy Ferns into the room. And he put there in the Lakers. I knew it was somebody else. The Lakers are another one of those teams. You either like them or hate them. But again, I don't know what it is about the Lakers and the Dodgers. Most people don't hate the Lakers. Well, you may not like them now. We living in a new sports world. But by and large, you don't see a lot. I've never heard a lot of people not like the Lakers. A lot of people don't like LeBron James. But the Lakers, but Chief Rocker is right. Those teams, the Lakers, I'm going to go with Chief Rocker. The Lakers, the Yankees, The Cowboys, Notre Dame, you hate them or you love them. You don't get a lot of people indifferent, because it's just what it is. What's that? I didn't hear what you said.
I'll say the Cubs.
Well, the Cubs, I don't know many people that don't like the Cubs outside like their natural rivals, the Cardinals, the White Sox, because the Cubs are on a superstation. And a superstation, TNT, TBS, WGN, and things of that nature, when you're in those rural areas, Wyoming, you're in North and South Dakota, you're in the middle of the map, you can see the Cubs. That's how the Cubs grew their fan base. That's why, they were known, before this World Series, they were known as the lovable losers. I don't know anybody like White Sox fans. I'm a White Sox fan. We don't really rock with the Cubs unless they going to win the thing for the city. Then you'll roll with the city. But I don't know a lot of people that don't like the Cubs. You in Chicago, it's the Civil War. And then once you leave the state of Illinois, you a Cubs, White Sox, Bulls, and Bears fan, period. But, I'm quite sure Chief Rocker can relate. I'm quite sure the homie D-Gray can relate as well. Because, I ain't no Angel fan until they playing in the World Series. And I'm not rooting for them, but I'm rooting for the city of Los Angeles. So that's why I'm doing it. With that being said, again, man, if you want to join the show, you can read the timeline, the numbers in there, 773-797-2409, or you can click the link and come in live, man. Come in live, shoot your shot, say what you got to say, and then, we'll move forward. But with that being said, it's going to be interesting with Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I don't want to force anybody into what they don't want to do. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Second to last thing in NCAA, you got the coach of the Northwestern Wildcat, Chicago's Big Ten team, Pat Fitzgerald, homegrown, homebred, everything Illinois. He played at Northwestern. He's from Illinois. He's from the Chicagoland metropolitan area. He signs a 10-year extension. Everybody and their uncle and their mother wants to come see them. Northwestern put together one of the best facilities in the United States of America over here on the lakefront here in Chicago. If you ever get a chance, drive up there. It is awesome. It is super dope. But one thing I definitely want to do is commend the Northwestern Wildcats for locking them up for 10 years, man. That is awesome. He should be there for a while, and I really do believe that the only way he'll leave is to coach the Bears. What do you think about Pat Fitzgerald getting a 10-year extension, even after a horrible year?
It's more so, granted, crazy year, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's been, like you said, he's homegrown from Chicago, land area, and he's the coach, he's the man for the job that had a rough year. That's just like saying Bill Belichick been there for all these years. He had one bad rough year. Get rid of him? Nah, more so you know what's going on. Some things went hayward from last year. So horrible year. Keep it rolling. Hey, that 10 years is a long time. I will say this, but get your money, man.
But again, nigga plays right into it goes into my theory. College coaches are hired to be legends. Professional coaches are hired to be fired. And that's just the name of that tune. If you're a professional coach, it's only a matter of time before unless you Bill Belichick, unless you Bill, what's his name, the coach or the former coach of the Steelers, Tom Landry, he got forced out with ownership change. Otherwise, you there. You on borrowed time. The Pittsburgh Steelers are, again, that's an anomaly. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't fire anyone. So when you are looking at a situation where the Pittsburgh Steelers don't fire anyone, I don't put Bill Cowher in that situation. The Pittsburgh Steelers hired Chuck Noll. That's the coach I was thinking of. The year before I was born. And since then, 52 years later, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin as their coaches. So that's a rare situation. You can't look at another. Right. It's only, you can only look at two. I don't know any other situation like that. The Cowboys were once like that with the man Tom Landry. But outside of the Cowboys and the Steelers, early Cowboys and the Steelers, until the Cowboys sold that team, they were in you'd have never saw the Dallas Cowboys fire a coach. You'd have never thought Tom Landry would be fired. But that's neither here nor there. Before I turn the page on NCAA sports, what I want to do is send a shout out to one of the greatest coaches in NCAA history, basketball history, matter of fact. He goes by the name of Chaney, John Chaney. John Chaney coached Division II Chaney State before he got to Temple. He's a Philadelphia legend. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. He was black coaching personified. So in the last 6 months, we've lost two of the best brothers as coaches, mentors. They just laid out what it was to be a black coach. All of their players, to a man, I've never heard any of their players say one bad word. One of the things I liked about John Chaney, in 1988, he had the #1 team in the nation, and he had this ball player by the name of Mark Macon. Mark Macon had the handle. Mark Macon had the size. He even grew bigger. He grew up to be 6'6", but he was like 6'2" at the time. He had the handle, the size, the pass, and the defense, and he refused to let Mark talk to the media because he understood how the media would misconstrue and tangle things. He protected his players. John Thompson did the same thing at Georgetown. Salute to that man. Most people will never, and we'll never get to see two greater coaches. I don't give a damn if you win 10 in the NCAA championship. When you are being a father, a mentor, an example of a man, I got mad love for you. I got mad respect for you. John Chaney was the man, point blank, period. Salute to Lady J, salute to Microwave, salute to Knox, salute to D Great, and then J Ron, anybody else. If I haven't seen you yet, I'll get to you when I get to you. What were you about to say?
Yes, rest in peace. Hey, as you said, there's never been a bad word said about John Chaney. So as far as it goes, like you said, wasn't his championship coach or anything like that, but like you said, the amount of lives he touched while he was coaching is unmatched. So rest in peace, bro.
Rest in peace to John Chaney again, man. Perfect example of what we are missing today. We are missing mentors. We're missing guidance. We're missing a ton of things. John Chaney said, "You're not gonna miss it on my watch." Mad love, mad respect. One of the greatest coaches ever. One of the greatest brothers ever. He did it right. He did it the way you're supposed to do it. Nobody can doubt that. Nobody can challenge that. And again, this is a perfect example of, hey man, you can win all you want, and you may not make an impact. This is why, even though in my lifetime, the great John Wooden wasn't around. He was only around for the first 5 years in regards to coaching in my life. But I always respect the fact that people who were around him set up situations to whereas they are mad, they are wildly respected, even though people have speculated that he wasn't always above board in regards to recruiting. I don't give a damn about that. But people who John Chaney and my man Big John Thompson and John Wooden. Wow, interesting. All three of their names is John. People are better people after dealing with them, no matter what the situation is. So respect to those guys, man. Mad respect, man. Love to all three of those guys. We need more men to step up like that. Nolan Richardson. The list goes on. The 80s was, in my opinion, the golden era of basketball. The tournament was expanded. Everybody was on TV. People making major moves. It was a lot of brothers making major moves. It was the golden era. So, of course, you'll see more and you'll enjoy more, and it's going to go down that way. Now, with that being said, enough with the NCAA. The Major League Baseball Hall of Fame chose to not put anybody in this week. Your thoughts on that?
That was wild. It was actually one of the weirdest things ever because, as far as I know, there was always somebody that went in, but as far as it goes, it was the people that they have been not voting for the past few years. You still got Barry Bonds on there, Roger Clemens, and they just not getting the votes. So as far as it goes, I'm surprised. But of course, all people that's voting, they got an axe to grind some way, somehow, with somebody.
Me personally, I say this is indicative of why baseball is losing tread every single solitary day. Major League Baseball, if you wonder why nobody's paying attention anymore, if it's not because the brothers not playing, it's not the brothers don't want to be involved. Now, you have priced out working class people. I refuse to not say that. I would never say that you haven't priced out working class people, because with traveling baseball, with the expenses of playing baseball, you've priced out a lot of working class people. But I heard my man Rated Kev on number one Chief Rocker show earlier this week talk about the season is too long. I don't think the season is too long. A lot of people will pay attention if you engage. If you give me something to watch, I'll watch 162 games of it, or I'll watch at least 85, 90 games of it. Most people are not watching 82 basketball games. Most people are not watching 16 football games. So to say, oh, if the season's too long, what's one of the big time reasons? I don't think that's one of the big reasons. Baseball has snobbed their way out of the purview of the average fan. Nobody gives a damn about your traditions. Nobody gives a damn about this stuffed shirt bow-ish. I'm just tired. People are tired. When you're a big time baseball fan, you're chasing a ghost. You're chasing a ghost. Oh, well, I just want to do this because I want to be like something somebody's never going to be able to beat. Oh, you'll never be better than this guy. You'll never be better than that guy. And then these time-honored traditions that mean absolutely nothing. And this thing right here, this is the second time in my lifetime no one has gone into the Hall of Fame, which is a joke. Which is an all-time joke. I understand. If you don't have people who you perceive as worthy, that's understandable. I get it. Nobody's saying put a bunch of bums in the Hall of Fame. Nobody's saying Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, just put in Joe Schmo and this, that, and the third. But if you're going to have a celebration of the greatest players in the history of your game, and you're telling me that at no point you can't find 4 to 5 people. I remember Reggie Jackson went in alone. I think it was Reggie Jackson. He went in alone. It was somebody recently. He went in alone. Nobody has been a unanimous pick to go in the Hall of Fame. Who?
Pudge. Didn't Pudge go in alone?
Maybe. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. It's stupid. Nobody wants to pay attention. And at some point, you're going to age yourself out of this demographic because nobody wants to play. Because, I can hit a home run and I can be happy, but I can't celebrate. I can celebrate, but I can't celebrate too much. If you do this, you can't do that. Who wants to keep up with all these unwritten rules? You've taken the fun right out of baseball. And when you remove the fun, you remove us. Because what you don't realize, Major League Baseball, is this. The reason black folks got into Major League Baseball on that large scale is because of Jackie Robinson. And then you got the Hank Aaron's and all these brothers, an influx of brothers. And then guess what? Baseball was the only show in town. They were on radio, they were on TV. The NBA wasn't on TV. The NFL was growing, so you had a prime position to dominate. Then you had all these brothers. You had Doc Ellis. You had Dave Winfield. You had Ricky Henderson. You had the damn Cincinnati Big Red Machine. 80% of that team looked like us. So of course you got black community focused on these guys. You got Joe Morgan with style. You got Ken Griffey Sr. You got ball players you got the brothers who speak Spanish, the bilingual brothers. They call themselves Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. You got them on the damn field. So you got people who look like me on the field, and if you just lack some of your rules, you'll be able to draw in more players. Baseball, you kicking yourself in the behind. You're ruining what used to be a great product, and nobody cares. My man Michael Wade just put in the chat room Hall of Fame as a joke. Who the hell is the person that didn't vote for Mariano Rivera? Actually, I I think he is the first one to go in unanimously. Well, who didn't vote for Hank Aaron? Who didn't vote for Willie Mays? Who didn't vote for Babe Ruth? Who didn't vote for Mickey Mantle? Who didn't vote for Ricky Henderson? Who didn't vote for these people? I understand it's kind of like what they do with the top 10 in NFL. Shout out to Ben. The top 10, top 100 in NFL. They put you on the list and everybody vote for you. But it's just some players that there is no way in hell he shouldn't go in unanimously. These sports writers are a joke and it's pointless. The floor is yours.
No, in regard, you're absolutely correct though, because it's people that's not voting. Because Ken Griffey Jr. got 99.7% of the votes. Who didn't vote for that guy? So it was one person, and that one person should be called out. But like seriously though, you are totally correct for the fact that it's so many people that should actually be in the Hall of Fame and that aren't, or the ones that were shoo-ins to get in for getting in with the 85s. A little bit over 75% need to get in. What's going on? But as Michael Wade said, the MLB Hall of Fame is a joke. It's been considered a joke for some time. I mean, even the people in my generation are saying that the NBA, not NBA, the basketball Hall of Fame is a joke because everyone's getting in as well. But teach its own. I mean, as far as we talked about how we felt about Hall of Fame, or more so what it is. Can you play in this sport without this person? If you can, then no. They don't need to be in. But if their name's gonna come up in that story of the sport, yes, they deserve to be in.
That's kind of difficult. I think it needs to be a sharper barometer than that, because you can't talk about baseball in the 80s without talking about Len Dykstra. But Len Dykstra ain't no Hall of Famer. You can't talk about a bunch of guys. I mean, that's tough. I just think impact on the game, man. I think I will always go back to impact on the game, because I don't know if that thing about we can't talk about the sport without talking about you. It's a bunch of guys that you can't talk about that were very good ball players that, like, it's too many people to name, but you talk about basketball. Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre was Illinois Mr. Basketball. Mark Aguirre was the number one basketball player in the United States of America at age 18. Mark Aguirre was NCAA Player of the Year. Mark Aguirre, when it was only 32 teams making the NCAA tournament, Mark Aguirre made the NCAA tournament all 3 years at DePaul. Mark Aguirre was the number one player pick for an expansion franchise. Mark Aguirre was a dominant scorer, 3 or 4 time All-Star, two-time NBA champion, and he's not in the Hall of Fame, but yet Bill Walton is. I understand Bill Walton had arguably one of the greatest. He had a top 5 college career, but Grant Hill is another one. Grant Hill was one of my favorite ball players ever, but there's no way in hell you can look at Grant Hill's career in its totality and Bill Walton's career in its totality and say Mark Aguirre shouldn't be in that conversation. The fact that Sidney Moncrief just got in, the fact that, switching back over to baseball, the fact that Steve Garvey, one of the more dominant players in the 70s and the 80s, won World Series with the Los Angeles Dodgers and took the lowly Padres, was the leader. He was the face of the franchise along with a young Tony Gwynn, and took the Padres in 1984 to the World Series. So how the hell isn't he in? You got the Cobra, Dave Parker. You got the Crime Dog, Fred McGriff, and they're not in. How in the hell can Steve Garvey, the Cobra, Keith Hernandez, and damn Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens? I'm not even talking about those two. How can those guys be on the outside and nobody gets in? This lets me know we are prisoners of the moment. We need to revamp this situation. I think I saw RC on another show say he thinks that players and fans, I would give a fan the opportunity to vote for anything in the Hall of Fame. I'm not gonna lie. No. Under no circumstances will they ever get the chance for me to get a vote, because people vote emotionally. I like him. No. I like a bunch of players. They in the Hall of Fame. One of my favorite players as a kid growing up, he's in the Hall of Fame. His name is Harold Baines. He don't belong in the Hall of Fame. He's a very good ball player. He was actually my very outside of Reggie Jackson, he's my very favorite White Sox player ever. Harold Baines don't belong in the Hall of Fame. He in there though. I'm glad that you put the Hall of Fame by his name, but no sir, no way. So that's why no. That's why I'm not gonna, that's why no fans, maybe not, but I think historians, quality historians, we need to start talking to some of these people because, like the T.O. thing, the Chris Carter thing, there's no way Chris Carter and Terry Owens should have been first ballot Hall of Famers. And I understand it has a lot, some of it has to do with when you come up. But it shouldn't be that. You should be doing your thing and you should be getting your due when you're supposed to get your due. Oh, no, Microwave. My man Microwave in the Spreaker chat room says Keith Hernandez isn't in. No, he's not. Him and Dave Parker are not in the Hall of Fame because they got mixed up in a drug situation. And when he got mixed up in a drug situation, they blackballed them or whatever. And next thing you know, Keith Hernandez isn't in the Hall of Fame, and he's in the situation. Him and the Cobra, it's a horrible situation, but it is what it is. I am not going to just lay down and see these dudes doing their thing, rocking real hard, and you don't get a chance to be in the Hall of Fame. What are your thoughts on that, man?
Right. It's whack. I mean, we talked about that plenty of times. Like you said, you did your thing throughout the history of the game, and it's more so the people that are voting. You got to get rid of that, get a new crowd in there, and actually do some meta analysis in regards to voting, and maybe do some changes. Got these old sports writers that, like you said, get off my lawn type of people. So it's like they got access, like me, and they have access to going on why they're not voting. So it's whack.
Yeah, man, it's like a whole.
They both create alike. Not who they fishing it in.
Right, and it's just a horrible situation, man. I mean, and the worst thing in the world is to go in posthumously. You appreciate going in, your family appreciate going in. But if I ain't played football, baseball, and basketball in 65, 70 years, I'm an 80-year-old man up here accepting this speech, or I'm a dead man. How did that help the sport? How did that help me or acknowledge me? And it's just a damn shame. And then, Kurt Schilling is hissing and pissing and moaning. Oh, man, I'm supposed to be in. Me personally, that's another dude who's very good. The fact that, I don't care what nobody say. Look, I don't have a problem with the fact that Kurt Schilling wears a sheet, in my opinion. That's not why I don't want him in the Hall of Fame. I just think he's very good. But when you are looking at guys like Jack Morris won a World Series with the Detroit Tigers, and he turned around and won another World Series with the Minnesota Twins, turned around and went up to Toronto and pitched his behind off up there. Those are Hall of Fame performances. That's the guy who, I don't have 300 wins, I don't have 3,000 strikeouts, but when you needed me, he's like an old school John Smoltz. I don't have the best numbers, but when you called my number, nobody was doing it better than me. What were you saying?
Nah, I mean, I'm agreeing with you. I mean, as you were saying, the St. Louis, that name, the places that he went to win those World Series and things like that, I was agreeing with you. Like, he did pitch his butt off in every situation that he was in. I mean, like you said, it ain't about, and that's where the analysis on the game, and like you said, that whole human intuition. It's like analytics can't tell you that. Okay. We were talking about in regards to the last World Series. Analytics told them to take the pitch out in the 5th inning. He felt he could have went on. You don't know what would have happened. Like you said, as though people get 9, 10 innings, going to extra innings, pitch 13. The analytics will tell you take them out in 7, then you might have lost. So it's weird that the human drive is always going to be analytics in regards to, like you said, impact on the game. Analytics can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a horrible situation. My man Microwave, he made another comment. In my opinion, if you finish top 5 in career in your position, it shouldn't matter when you come up. But what does that, again, this is why I don't really do this. I got my man Buster in the chat room. Thank you, in the Spreaker chat room. This is why I don't do the numbers thing. Because what makes you top 5? When you look at Michael Irvin's numbers, he don't measure up to Jerry Rice. He don't measure up to Chris Carter. He don't measure up to T.O. But Michael Irvin was the man. And then look, 40 years later, Drew Pearson goes in the Hall of Fame. Drew Pearson's numbers are cut short because he was in a car accident. So that's why I'm steadfast on that impact on the game. Did you dominate the league during your career? Sterling Sharp is another guy. See, if you're going to let my man from Dwight Stevenson from the Miami Dolphins get in the Hall of Fame due to injury, Sterling, Terrell shouldn't have waited so long. Terrell Davis, he shouldn't have waited so long. Just that numbers thing, I don't know. Exactly. My man RC, thank you, RC. He says playoff impact should matter as well. Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. You could just be a regular dude in the season, you could have a very good season. But when the lights come on from December 31st until the end of the playoffs, whenever you just dominate. You just dominate. And that could help. That could put you over the top. Like something I heard Microwave, him and Kusel were debating about Julio Jones versus my man Tariq Hill from the Chiefs. I disagree with Microwave in regards to that because he was saying Tariq has better hands, and then he mentioned a few instances where Julio dropped big time balls. I wouldn't say you have better hands if Tariq caught on if Julio dropped a bunch of big time balls. What I would say is if you're gonna grade him on that instance, you have to say Julio isn't clutch. And if Julio isn't clutch, no matter what your numbers are, Julio could finish number 3 in catches, number 3 in yards, number 3 in touchdowns. If you don't do it when it counts, hey Julio, what's going on? And see, that's blah blah blah. You know. Yeah. But see,
I agree with that. That's actually a great way to say it. That's actually a great way to say it because of the fact, like you said, in the regular season, 1 through 17, you might have 1 million catches. Soon as it comes to the playoffs, you done. Like you said, you dropping big passes when it counts. Yeah, we can't count on you on that.
No, I'm addressing Microwave. I understand what you're saying, but it's a situation to me, again, it's impact on game. It's impact on game. Because you can put up all those numbers. Like, I'm a big time Randy Moss fan. But me personally, Randy Moss hardly ever showed up in the playoffs. Because, it could be me being a DB and having a defensive state of mind and having a bias. But I don't think that's what it is. Randy Moss, early in his career, he showed up. But as his career waned, I remember the year he scored 22 touchdowns in 16 games. And when the playoffs started, he scored 1 touchdown from the start of the playoffs until the Super Bowl. And that was at the very end of the game in the Super Bowl. They beat the coverage, and Julio and Randy Moss scored that 1 touchdown. If you can score 22 touchdowns in 16 games, you should be able to score at least 4 in the playoffs. And that's when I was looking at him like, damn, Randy. And I remember a few other instances where as Randy didn't show up. Randy didn't show up against the the 49ers against when he played with the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Randy didn't show up. I mean, Randy's impact was not what I thought it should be. But again, he says, damn, Julio dropped passes in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. That means you don't show up when it counts. I'm not gonna create a situation to where as you don't have good hands because you can bring up 10 or 15 times in a 10 or 12 year career he didn't show up because, hey, I can remember a time when Jerry Rice was going 1986-87 season. Jerry Rice was coming across the middle of the field and he had got popped a couple times, and when he looked up and saw the safety with the Giants and the ball fell out of his hands. So we can think about a bunch of times when people drop things. I wouldn't say because you have a few drops because, hey, I can remember one playoff game against the Green Bay Packers when T.O. was still with the San Francisco 49ers. He dropped everything in the stadium that game. He dropped everything they threw his way that day. He ultimately caught the ball to win the game, but leading up to that, he dropped every single solitary ball that came his way. So I'm not going to sum up your career to instances. Again, if you feel that Tyreek Hill has better hands, I can't say you have better hands because of an instance. I'm just going to say, it's a matter of opinion. HRap, come on now. Moss had a domestic seat. I don't give a damn. Hey, man. Hey, bro. If you whoop on your woman or whatever your situation is, I don't care. When you put the jersey on, you got to show up. Michael Irvin had tons of instances that was going on behind the curtain, and Michael Irvin caught the ball when he needed to. I got my man 334 Bama in the building. Thank you for the support. I don't cut people slack on that, man. I don't. But with that being said, I'm moving on because I don't want to get into a debate about who's the best receiver in the league. Because at this point, what I will say is the last time the best receiver in the league won the Super Bowl was Jerry Rice. So when best receivers in the league don't get you nowhere, and you got to take the best receiver, give me, and that's why I'm sick of them ball. And we'll get to that in a second. I'm sick of them ball watching homeboy because the best guy in the league don't always win at that position. That guy hardly ever wins. If he wins the Super Bowl, he ain't gonna lead you nowhere. The best receiver in the league. With that being said, I want to say rest in peace to Sekou Smith, a stalwart on. All I know, I'm not gonna go into this. I'm not gonna get into this debate. As I was saying, Sekou Smith, rest in peace. One of the shining spots on NBA TV. Mad love for him, mad respect. He was the guy. He was the reason. I ain't gonna lie. When I would turn to NBA TV, I would stop and check him out. He always brighten up the screen. Mad love. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Sekou Smith, rest in peace, brother. Another one of the fatalities of the COVID virus. But as you said, he was part of the TNT fan, NBA TV family, so he was around basketball family. Of course, basketball is my favorite sport, so I definitely watched it as much as when he was on. Like you said, WO Day, he was one of the cool guy in regards to that was Hank in regards to what was going on. So I do appreciate what he did. Rest in peace, brother. Prayers and condolences to his family.
Indeed. I'm going to address RC. Well, from the games I saw, Randy Moss didn't do a goddamn thing. The night that against the Giants, he didn't do a damn thing. The whole playoff run with the Patriots, he didn't do a damn thing. And I saw him not do a lot in a bunch of instances. So I don't remember him showing up big time in the playoffs. And if you can remember that, hey, God bless you. I didn't see it a lot. I can remember a bunch of instances they got smoked back-to-back years by the Giants, and Randy Moss didn't do a lot. If you scored 22 touchdowns in a 16-game period, I think it's almost impossible to only score one touchdown in the playoffs. If you are Jerry Rice, if you are Randy Moss, if you are Terrell Owens, you are any of these guys who are in the Hall of Fame, when you don't show up, when it counts, I have an issue with that. And I've seen him not show up more than he did. I don't remember him in the Super Bowl with the what's the name? What's my man's name? Kaepernick Super Bowl. I don't remember him in that. I don't remember him doing anything in the Patriots Super Bowl. I could those two instances when they got the hell beat out of them by the Giants back-to-back playoff games. He didn't do anything. As I stated, early in his career, Randy Moss was showing up somewhat in the playoffs. But as his career waned, or career went on, I don't remember him showing up as much. I can remember, as you stated, push off Drew. Drew Pearson used to kick ass in the playoffs. Jerry Rice kicked ass in the playoffs. Michael Irvin kicked ass in the playoffs. Being past your prime has nothing to do with anything. Because guess what? Randy Moss past his prime is better. He is physically better than most people in their prime. Because if Randy Moss slowed down to a 4.45 and he go from 4.3 to 4.5, you better than most people. You better than Michael Irvin started. By that point in your career, you should be running precise routes. You should be able to get yourself open. I remember James Lofton at the end of his career kicking ass with the Buffalo Bills. I don't rank anybody anywhere. It's not a love affair with me. It's not. It's not a love affair with me. I'm just going by what I see. I don't make these lists because I like football. This is like when we talk about rap. Who you top 5 MCs? I don't have one. Because I like this guy on Monday, I like this guy on Tuesday, I like this guy on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so on and so on. I like Randy Moss. But I'm not giving nobody no pass because, hey man, when you got older, you fell off. I saw James Lofton at the very end of his career kick ass in the playoffs. At the very end of his career. We used to see, me and you, we used to see Charlie Joyner kick ass in the career. Hey, I wouldn't give a fuck if Randy Moss had 3 left hands. He don't show. I don't even know a receiver if he left-handed or not. Marvin Harrison, he's another guy who disappeared a lot when it counted. I like Marvin Harrison coming out of Syracuse, but Marvin Harris used to, when he saw Ty Law and Lawyer Malloy and that Patriot secondary, he folded. Just because I like you. Hey, I'm a Raider fan. I'm a big-time Raider fan. I ain't impressed with Tim Brown. That's a dude who don't need to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. He got the numbers, but I don't remember Tim taking over a boatload of games. Now, it could be because he never really had a big-time quarterback. But guess what? This is a guy who played right in your town, who had inconsistent quarterback play, but he used to kick ass all the time. Chris Carter. And I can't stand him. I can't stand him. But Chris Carter kicked ass every chance he got. Marvin Harrison disappeared because when people get physical, 1 second, Joe. Marvin Harrison disappeared because when people get physical with you, you're supposed to man up. All this falling to the ground, making sure you don't get hit. Either if you don't fall to the ground, hey, sometimes, especially during that era, you took the hit. As Michael, as Chris, as Jerry, as John Taylor, as Andre Rison. The list goes on and on and on and on. And again, I'm not talking about that Thursday on Monday Night Football or that one day. I'm talking about what you do over an entire career. Because I can tell you about games where Marvin Harrison set folks on fire. But more times than not, and I'll say it to the end of my life, more times than not, Marvin Harrison didn't show up. More times than not. When they playing press on him, he would fold against the Patriots. Fold.
I'll speak on that. By being a coach fan and actually following, I'll speak on that. It was a mixture of both. Like as he said it wasn't either or. It was a mixture of both. Was Peyton Manning did kind of go a little off the radar in regards to it. Marvin Harrison did have the alligator on. Like you said, he was scared to do because he didn't see people coming. So that's when things started to get a little iffy for him. So it was a little mixture of both.
I mean, you know, yeah, I'm not impressed with Peyton Manning, even though, see, Peyton Manning, he falls right in line with that Karl Malone, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, and there's a couple other of them out there. When you look at their resume, there's no way in hell you can't say, this is one of the greatest ball players ever. You can't say, you be outside of your mind to say, on paper, that Peyton Manning. But when you watch those dudes fold repeatedly, you have to question it. Then when you thought, oh, some of the greatest of all time. No. Hey, Peyton Manning, I don't have a whole lot of respect. When I look at the quarterbacks that I really like, I look at Warren, I look at John, I look at Marino, it's going to be a few names before I get to Peyton. I look at Brady. It's going to be few names before I get to Peyton because he used to bowl. People be trying to sell people on this Ben Roethlisberger, on this Eli Manning, and on this Phillip Rivers thing. You're not selling me on that because they don't show up when it counts. I'm waiting on Ben Roethlisberger to have a good Super Bowl. Just a good one. Not a great one. I want him to have a good one. I want him to have a good Super Bowl. I want Phillip Rivers to have a good playoff run. Eli Manning is better than both of them in regards to showing up when it counts. Guess what? When the playoffs started, Eli was a bad motherfucker. Eli, he'll trick a game in a minute in the regular season, but when the playoffs started, he's getting it in. Now, but people don't want nobody. Oh, he's retarded. He's retarded. He's Peyton's little brother. Eli Manning, put him in the playoffs against the 49ers. He showed up. Then you go down the road to Green Bay when it's freezing cold and watch Brett Favre hit wide open linebackers while Eli walked the Giants down the field, and then he beat the GOAT. Y'all can do it today. Everybody tell me the greatest of all time. He looked him in his eye and he punched him in his face twice. That sounds like good coaching. But if you look, dog, okay. So my man Microwave said that sounds like good coaching. If you giving me Harrison didn't show up again, but guess what? I'm talking about in the biggest game of the year. Harrison didn't show up several years in a row. As a matter of fact, against the Bears in the Super Bowl, did anybody say Marvin Harrison's name? Or was that the kid from Miami, Reggie Wayne, kicking ass on the other side?
It was Reggie Wayne.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Marvin. That was Marvin Harrison making all the big plays. Marvin Harrison was in the Super Bowl. Marvin Harrison has a Super Bowl title. Marvin Harrison played in that game against the Bears in the Super Bowl. Exactly. The fact that you don't even know he was there says it all. When you watch Dallas Cowboy playoff highlights, you see Michael Irvin in the Super Bowl. Huh? Yeah. Marvin Harrison has a Super Bowl championship. Right, because Marvin didn't do any damn thing. Exactly. This your favorite team, Super Bowl 51. Marvin Harrison was there. And that's all I'm saying. I mean, we go back and forth. He drew coverage. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you used that piddly ass excuse because Jerry Rice drew coverage, Michael Irvin drew coverage, James Lofton drew coverage. Everybody who claims to be Monk drew coverage. Everybody who claims to be big time draws coverage. Somehow, some way, the playmaker makes plays. When you watch Dallas Cowboy 90s Super Bowl highlights, you'll see the maker making plays. Big game Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce. As a matter of fact, one of the last plays in the last Super Bowl the Rams won, you see big game Torrey Holt kicking ass, and you go to the other side and you see Isaac Bruce breaking free after Kirk got smashed by the freak. So why is it that these other guys show up and these guys don't? Plexico is scoring touchdown. Santonio is scoring touchdown, but everybody else getting double covered. I love that excuse. I love that excuse the all-time most. Oh man, it's because he was drawing double coverage. But that's why that's why when you sitting in your in the wide receiver room with your arms folded, that's why they pay you the big check. Because you get the most money because we need you to show up and show out. And if you don't, why you getting the big money? Tim Duncan get the big money. Michael Jordan get the big money. Joe Montana, Tom Brady get the big money. Warren Moon get the big money. Hey, the people who get the big money, Troy Aikman completion percentage, and he got a Super Bowl MVP because when the playoffs, he rises to the occasion. Excuse me, you act like the Bears defense. What the hell does the Bears defense have to do with what we're talking about? The Bears defense has exactly 10 billion nothing to do with what we're talking about. It is negative 400 trillion% to do with nothing we're talking about. Man. Moving on. The Sixers GM said it's championship a bust. What are your thoughts on that?
As far as it goes, yeah. I mean, we've been trusting the process for so long now. It's like, damn, where is this process going to be going? As far as it goes, they, Sixers got off fast to the races after new coach in regards to Doc. And as far as it goes, this looks like this is what it's supposed to be. Quote unquote, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are finally starting to gel. As it looks like they're starting to win games. As far as it goes, yeah. It's a museum. As far as it goes, that needs to be we need to figure it out now or start figuring out another way.
Me personally, I think Daryl Morey is. I think that's insane. Anytime you hire a brand new coach and say, in a situation to whereas everybody was out of control, I'm supposed to come here to calm it down. We don't have all the prerequisite positions in place. This is why Daryl Morey is no longer the general manager in Houston, and this is why he don't deserve any more damn jobs in the National Basketball Association, because to say championship or bust is a situation to whereas all the pieces in play, now we got the coach, let's go. The Bears defense has absolutely anything to do with this. Marvin Harrison. So how was Reggie Wayne able to show up? How about this? The New York Football Giants 1986-87 defense actually outrated. They broke some of the records that the Bears defense, the Super Bowl Bears defense that everybody loved, the Harry Carsons, the Lawrence Taylor, the Banks, the Allens, the Jim Burks, the Elvis Pattersons. That defense was a monster defense as well. Somehow, some way, other people got on. How is it that when we like these people, we make all these excuses for not showing up? But when we don't, we bury them. Because last time I checked, Bill Belichick has a great defense that shut Julio down. But nobody says that because, Julio isn't the most popular guy in the world at this point. So, if you are, how is it that Jerry Rice kicking ass against the Giants, kicking ass against the Redskins in the playoffs, kicking ass against the Bears in the playoffs? How is it that Michael Irvin was kicking ass against the vaunted Buffalo Bills defense two times? How is it that we can go chapter, book, and verse with big-time ball players doing big-time things in big-time moments, but because when you face a good defense, so you just gave me two teams that Marvin Harrison didn't show up against. He didn't show up against the Patriots or the Bears. So, it's just, I don't understand. And RC says, Indy ran it down the Bears' throat. They almost ran for 200 yards. And Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith won Super Bowl MVP, and Michael Irvin still got big time moments. And bar none, William Floyd, and Ricky Wallace acted a damn fool, and Jerry Rice probably should have won Super Bowl MVP that year too. Excuse Marvin Harris ain't Jerry Rice or the playmaker. All for starters. All. But his numbers say he is, and his big check says he is. As a matter of fact, his numbers, going back to the original point, this is why I don't go with numbers, I go with impact on game, because Marvin Harris's numbers are way better than Michael Irvin's. This is about showing up when it counts. My entire argument is about showing up when it counts. It's Marvin Harrison, James Lofton. It's Marvin Harrison, Andre Reed. It's Marvin Harrison, a bunch of guys that we can think of. Is he Plexico Burress? Is he Santonio Holmes? Or Santonio Holmes? Is he, I mean, I can go chapter, book, and verse about these dudes. Is he Andre Rison, who scored 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl before? Another dude who showed up when it counts on a regular basis. Is he him? Is he? Hell, you know what? Is he Rod Smith of the Denver Broncos who kicked ass in the playoffs on a regular basis? Hell, is he Ed McCaffrey? No, he ain't none of them, huh? But again, man, I'm not saying that I am a Marvin Harrison fan. I'm a Marvin Harrison fan, but I'm just not going to say, hey, man, just because you Marvin Harrison, you are big time and you clutch. It's everybody go by these numbers. When I watch the games, I don't see these guys showing up. And they ain't showing up, ain't getting no props from me. Back to Daryl Morey. Again, man, that's why his ass need to be at the crib. Because who's the shooters on the Sixers? These dudes can't stay healthy. Joel Embiid hasn't played a healthy season yet. So if he's not playing healthy seasons, how can it be a championship or bust? We want to win the championship. Every team with a quality ball team should want to win the championship every single solitary year. And if they don't, bam. Alonzo Ball. Moving on. Alonzo Ball. Is it over for him, or what do you think about Alonzo Ball?
When it comes to Alonzo Ball, it's kind of rough looking out for him in regards to what he does. He hasn't progressed. We've talked about it months ago. Alonzo Ball is considered that bust where everybody thinks that Ben Simmons is. So when they call Ben Simmons the bust, I think that should be pointed towards Alonzo Ball and not Ben Simmons. But as far as it goes, he's not figuring it out. But his little brother is. His little brother's doing his thing. But as far as it goes, Alonzo isn't. Maybe it's the Pelicans. Maybe he's not fitting there. You know, as far as it goes, he has the complexion to move on to another team, and they might give him another chance. We'll see what happens. But as far as it goes, it's not working with the Pelicans, man.
We'll address this thing with microwave, then we're going to solidly move on. What does it mean about Alshon Jeffries? That means Alshon Jeffries is a solid ball player that shows up when it counts. Just like Mario Manningham, just like a million other wide receivers. It is what it is. But nobody's saying that Alshon Jeffries is one of the best ball players in the league. If you show up when you need it to be, good job, man. Way to go. But last time I checked, ain't nobody, not even Alshon Jeffrey, is telling people that he's the best ball player in the league. Nobody is telling him that. Nobody in the history of basketball is telling Alshon Jeffries, you are the best basketball player and you're the best football player on any team in the history since you've been in the league. To address the Alonzo Ball situation, the Alonzo Ball situation is this. The Alonzo Ball is a perfect example of guys need to stay the hell in school. Am I going to tell you to pass up on $15, $20 million? Only a damn fool. Only a damn fool would tell you to pass up on $15 to $20 million. Now, if you are going to go to the league, I think you should be prepared. You should mentally be prepared. He is not showing up when it counts. He is not doing what he's supposed to do. And I think it's partially because he was given everything. You know, he went to the University of UCLA and they handed over the team to him. He did well, but he has reached only adversity he's faced in his life, in my personal opinion, It's the fact that he's no longer the starter and he's no longer the darling of the league. You know, he's like, his daddy not acting a fool anymore. His daddy talked him to that position. It goes back to my point, as I've said time and time again, we are looking at a situation to whereas these guys are not being taught how to play basketball. And when you don't know how to play basketball, what happens is you run into a bunch of basketball players and they kick your ass. And that's just it. And Alonzo may need to work on his game a whole lot more than he has, or be put in a situation to whereas he can play backup point guard with a veteran point guard in front of him, and he can coach him along. Because I would say this, and then I turned it over. I'm a firm believer, and when you are a basketball player at that level, losing is your best friend. When you run up, like, I would use one of my favorite ball players of all time, Rod Strickland and David Rivers. Rod Strickland at the University of DePaul, and David Rivers was the point guard at Notre Dame. David Rivers was, I think, a year, maybe 2 years older than Rod. And Rod came in the league. Rod was kicking ass in college. And every time he faced David Rivers would wear his ass out. The next year, Rod put on 10 pounds of muscle, and David Rivers couldn't do anything to him. And then the next year, they had a very good team with him and Kevin Edwards and Kevin Hollins and Stanley Brumley, and they got popped in the playoff. In the NCAA tournament. Rod went pro, but I think Rod at that point, Rod had maxed out on his college abilities. But that adversity made Rod Strickland, in my opinion, be able to stay in the National Basketball Association 10, 12, 15 years. If he don't face that, he don't get better. He don't get stronger. He's just working off my Rod Strickland, New York basketball, high IQ, high ability. I got skill and talent, and not working on his basketball game. I think Lonzo and a lot of these dudes in the league, because they leave after 1 year, and then you still riding on it. I'm the best dude in the state of whatever. And then I go to the University of Kentucky. I go to Duke. I go to one of these schools. So now I'm on the best team in the nation. We lost. Well, so what? It wasn't on me. Let me hit this league. You really don't know how to play organized basketball, and then that's the end of it. You can have the floor.
Speak on it. In regards to that, the way that I can tell that Lonzo Ball has not progressed is because every time he still faces De'Aaron Fox still busts his ass. Now, it may just be that he's a better player than him. But like you said, and it's perfect that you just said that about Rod Strickland. You know, more so saying the first time he came up against that man, he got the best of me. I put on more pounds. I went to the gym just a little bit more. The next time around, I held my own. De'Aaron Fox and Lonzo Ball just played the other night. I think De'Aaron Fox gave me 40. Now, again, that may just be that De'Aaron Fox is just that much more superior to him. But it's also progressed that Lonzo Ball has not did what he was supposed to do to be able to take that next step. Dude been busting your ass in Kentucky. It goes, you haven't progressed. You haven't gotten better in regards to your skill, because either it should be either you putting up 40, so I'm putting up 42, or it's I'm shutting you down at this point. But it's neither.
But the thing is, Fox plays. I feel you on that, but Fox and Zoe play a different type of game. Fox is at your throat. Zoe is more laid back. He would probably be. I don't misconstrue this. Please, I need people to listen and not just hear what I'm saying. Let me say it again. Listen and not just hear what I'm saying. I would definitely say, if you had to pick one would be De'Aaron Fox would be more in the Kevin Johnson, Tim Hardaway, Isaiah Thomas mode, and Zoe would be more in the John Stockton, Rod Strickland mode, set up, Jason Kidd mode. What Jason Kidd is ultra attack mode, but he ain't trying to score it. But so he would be more of a pass first point guard, and Zoe is just another guy. He's a setup guy. Zoe might do well in the Greg Popovich. He might do well up under a better structured situation. Y'all know how I feel about Stan Van Gundy, so I ain't trying to hit none of that shit. So, I don't think staying in school would help Lonzo. Someone needs to feed his ass some gunpowder or a little crazy like Matt Barnes. But you know what? I'm going to respond. I'm going to let you speak 1 second. I'm going to respond to Michael Wade. But I do believe, Michael Wade, school helps you with that. Because when you go up against, like, okay, Michael Wade, the hottest dude coming in to the NCAA next year. Michael Wade, he's smoking people. He's showing up. He's doing his thing. He's on one of the top teams in the nation. But this junior, HRap, this junior, you run up on me, and I use all this experience to make you feel like trash. Everything that's worked on everybody else in the nation, this junior named HRap, who one of the top players in his class, is shutting Michael Wade down. No matter how mild-mannered Michael Wade is, no matter how reserved he is, you don't become one of the better ball players in the United States of America at the age of 18 by not having pride in what you do. I think that pride kicks in when you on the best team and you get your behind handed to you, you step up. That's just me. Other people may see it different, but I see it that way, Michael Wade. It makes you get better. Michael Jordan is one of the most driven athletes in the history of the game. Michael Jordan, people don't remember, Michael Jordan ended his career the same way Jay Williams from ESPN ended his. At the free throw line against the same team, against Indiana. Watch this, Michael Wade. I don't know if you're even aware of this. A dude by the name of Dan, RC remembers this. A dude by the name of Dan Dockich neutralized the great Michael Jordan. His last college game, he went to the line and gagged. You never saw Jordan do that again. Jordan said, a bum like Dan Dockich will never do that to me again. Akeem Olajuwon got close, but no cigar 3 straight years. And when he hit the league, he took a team. Remember, Akeem wasn't in a draft with the lottery. Akeem was the year before. The worst team in the league got Akeem. 2 years later, they were in the finals. I think losing is paramount. Losing is paramount. And I think that's what makes you a better pro. That's just me. Because, hey, to quote Pat Riley, I've experienced it too. Losing feels worse than winning feels good. That's one of the few things I totally agree with Pat Riley on. Because I've won tournaments, I won football trophies, I won baseball trophies, I won basketball trophies. When I won those trophies, I never felt as good, as angry as I was leaving the court, watching this dude. And I just literally said, at the center around my career, that little trophy sucks. The big one, it's an awesome feeling. But it sucks more. Bradley Beal was half-stepping. Number one Chief Rocket brought this up on his show as well. Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook took down the Giants in Brooklyn. It's a 2-part situation. Will the Wizards trade Bradley Beal, and how long before you break up this situation in Brooklyn? The floor is yours.
As far as it goes, man, we talked about this for since last season. The Washington Wizards have not been the best competitive team. Granted, we knew that John Wall was out for a while, for quite a few seasons in regards to Bradley Beal had to hold down the fort. Bradley Beal's an amazing ball player. I mean, as far as it goes, anybody would want him on this team. But as I said last offseason, as I said a couple months ago, anybody want him, but who's going to trade away Bradley Beal? Is Washington going to trade him away? No. Anybody's going to try and get him, but the Washington really give him away? I don't see that happening. As far as it goes, Washington has 4 wins this season. 4. Count 4. 2 of them are against the Brooklyn Nets. It's like, do you got your number? Or is it more so that the Washington Wizards is that team that will keep, I guess, scoring, and the Brooklyn Nets don't have the defense to stop them? So it's a very weird situation in regards to, we know that The Brooklyn Nets have that D'Antoni mindset, but that's a whole different story for a different day. But in regards to that, Bradley Beal, like, I don't think they're gonna trade him. As far as it goes, blowing up the Nets, I don't think it's gonna happen this year. But as far as that defense goes, it needs to change.
Well, with me, I think if the Washington Wizards had any sense in their head, they would try to unload Bradley Beal because he's clearly unhappy. He has clearly quit on that team. They won in spite of him the other night. Yeah, he scored a boatload of points. He kicked ass the other night. He kicked ass. But even that creep Skip, I glanced at Skip and Shannon. You know, what I do is listen to what Shannon says and then fast forward because Skip never says anything relevant. What I think they need to break up that team. They definitely, in my opinion, need to hit the reset button. Because if you hit the reset button, then you can move forward and get the hell out of here with this dude. Because Bradley Beal clearly does not want to be there. He half-assed and he ain't dapping up. He ain't doing anything that a leader should do. So it is clear that this dude don't want to be there. Hey, anybody who knows me know I'm not a big-time Russell Westbrook fan. But you know what? Whatever you say, whatever negative I have to say about Russell Westbrook, what I will give him is this. He playing hard every night. I'm not a fan at all. I don't give a damn if you go get 5 guys from the YMCA. Russell Westbrook is going to play the exact same way. That right there, if nothing else, I respect him for that. I think Russ is not maturing as an older basketball player the way he should. He gets too emotional. But you know what? Ain't no quitting. You know, they talk that Mamba mentality thing with him. Right there, that's that Mamba mentality. That's why Michael Jordan love him. That's why people like Microwave love him. That's why people like Jungle love him. I don't like him strictly on the basketball side, but I have nothing, absolutely nothing but respect for the way he handles himself on the basketball court. Because Russell Westbrook is getting paid $35-40 million, and he earns $55 to $60 million every night. Again, I'm not a fan. I do not subscribe to the Russell Westbrook fan club outside of the section of the fan club that says he ain't gonna quit on him. And Bradley Beal, to me, I lost a lot of respect. I am a Bradley Beal fan. I do want to see him excel. But the other night, that stuff that Skip was highlighting, and I'm sure if they zoomed in on LeBron, zoomed in on AD, zoomed in on Lonzo, zoomed in on anybody you can find nice they did that. But they showed me that last night, and I was just like, come on, son. It kind of disappointed me. In regards to the Nets, I don't think that thing is going to work at all. It's too... one week, your man Kyrie is telling everybody, "Hey man, I'm sick of the media. They need to leave me alone. They need to be fair." Well, then the next night, you bringing the dirty laundry from the Brooklyn Nets locker room and sitting it in front of the world. So whatever they make it at, it's your fault. And then I don't know why the media creating situations because you talking. If I didn't like a group of people, or if I didn't like anyone, I wouldn't participate. I'm not going to demonstrate with you if I don't like it.
Not at all.
And the fact that Kyrie is still doing that lets me know, leads me to believe he's more the problem than the solution. James Harden is wearing a whole 12-year-old on his back. He got a whole 6th grader around his body. And he walked in the door, and him and KD went together like Shaq and Kobe. This dude is the disruptor. I don't want to hear about how good his handle is. I don't want to hear about how intelligent he is. I don't want to hear about none of his charitable endeavors. What I am doing is this. I'm looking at a dude who is always some turmoil around. If it's always turmoil around you, then you might be the problem.
You're the problem.
My man, before you respond, RC says, I'm definitely not a member of the Kyrie fan club. Thank you, RC. Thank you, because, people love that dude, and I don't. And he was the problem in Cleveland. Houston problem in Boston. It seems like he's on his way to being the problem in Brooklyn. And that would be, to me, Kyrie Irving. This is how I would see Kyrie Irving. The way RC, and Microwave are just popping at each other. And then I just go, I hate the chat room. I ain't got to read the chat. And he got to answer basketball questions.
Right.
And when he gets out of answering the basketball questions, he can leave. He don't have to offer up any additional information. And he's always offering up information. Me personally, I would be seeing if I could get Brad Beal up to Brooklyn and send him down there with Russ. Russ might pop him, man. Russ might put the hands on homeboy. But if it was me, I would be trying to see if I could get him out of there. I ain't lying. I would see if I could get rid of it. I don't think, this is about 95% joke, but you know what? It's about 55% joke. It ain't 95. It's 55% joke. I think if LeBron James proves to be the only dude who wins the championship with Kyrie, that make him the GOAT. Period. Because winning the championship with this clown is next to impossible. Period. With that being said, the National Football League, it is prom week. It is the most celebrated week in all of sports. It is Super Bowl week. And you rarely get information about ancillary teams and ancillary activity. Rodgers says, has Aaron Rodgers played his last game in Green Bay?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere there. If Green Bay was smart, I mean, that's who they have. I mean, I understand they drafted Jordan Love, but do they feel that he's ready? So Aaron Rodgers has been the man there. As it says, he'll be walking out the door soon. You have his backup. Let him do what he's gonna do, because he's still gonna play his ass off until he leaves.
Me personally, I get him the hell out of there. Aaron Rodgers is not a cancer, I don't think. But Aaron Rodgers is unhappy. And this is the same reason you tell Deshaun Watson, all right, man, get your hat. We got your coat. Homeboy driver. Not that you don't want to not that this is not a generational talent. Not that this is not one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Not that this is not a dude who's the stalwart of the league. But everything in Green Bay says, I don't like the coach. Aaron Rodgers knows how to play the game that Kyrie Irving sucks at. The media game. Aaron Rodgers knows how to say, he leaves enough breadcrumbs to show people, I don't want to be here. He knows better than to say, I don't want to be here, because Green Bay is winning. You're the reason they're winning, and you're the reason they're losing. Therefore, if you're the reason they're winning and losing, what you need to do is this. You need to do everything within your power to make things uncomfortable for this coach, and he's doing that. You're not winning. That's the most important thing. I think it's time to send Aaron Rodgers to another team in the National Football League. You ain't going to get a king's ransom because of his age, but you can get a boatload of money for him and put yourself in a situation to where you can move in. My man RC says, I can't stand Green Bay. But they don't treat Rodgers like they treated him and they cuddled Brett Favre. You know what? I totally agree with RC, and that's another reason to get rid of him. Because if you're not gonna respect this dude, this is the very situation with Deshaun Watson. If you're not gonna respect me the way I need to be respected with the abilities I have, let me go. They're behind the doors calling him a diva. They're saying he's a troublemaker. They're saying this and they're saying that. And how in the entire hell do you draft a backup quarterback? And everybody know you need more weapons. And everybody know you need other things. If anything, you get Aaron Rodgers more offensive line help, which potentially they would have won 2 Sundays ago. If he had that. If anything, you get him another weapon which they could potentially won 2 Sundays ago, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. I see is 1,000% correct. See, when you live where we live in the NFC, what we used to call it NFC North. You old school, you call it the NFC North. They call it the NFC Central now. We hate each other's teams, but we pay attention to each other's teams. So, Brett Favre had Driver. He had my man with the goatee. I could never think of his name. He caught that crazy-ass ball on Monday Night Football. He had Walker. Favre had Andre Rison. Believe it or not, Favre had Mark Clayton. He had Bubba Franks. He had Mark Chmura. And he had another big-time tight end. Brett Favre was oozing with talent. Who?
Freeman.
Antonio Freeman, that's his name.
Yeah, Freeman too.
Yeah, that's the dude I was talking about. Antonio Freeman. He had a litany of talent around him, and Aaron Rodgers has not had that. And this is why, again, when I was listening to Microwave today and I was listening to Chief earlier yesterday, this is why I ain't big on them first round picks. Get rid of them. They're only one player. Thanks, RC. Thanks, brother. I'm not big on that. Oh, he a first round draft pick. Because guess what? You don't really hear about a whole lot of second round busts. I've never heard of a dude say he's a second round bust. But I hear he's a first round bust quite a bit. I hear that all the time. He's a first round bust. He washed out. So I understand if you trade, if you it might be a player in the first round that you need. But guess what? I guarantee you that it's more guys in the first round. I mean, it's more guys. Your team is comprised. Well, it's obvious. It's more guys on your team comprised of later round ball players than not. The Hall of Fame is filled with later round ball players. The Hall of Fame is filled. Okay, watch this. The greatest defensive player of all time, arguably Deacon Jones, later round ball player. Charles Haley, my man, you just played Andre DeMarcus Ware, later round ball player. It's all that first round hype means nothing. Terrell Owens, later round ball player. Big Illinois said Green Bay issue is they built the team to win in the black and blue division. Yeah, shout out to Big Illinois. Hope you feel better, brother. And that's true. But I don't have a problem with that. You built the team to win the black and blue division, then secure your offensive line like the Raiders, like the Rams, like the Cowboys, like the Giants and the Mets are doing, like every other team that's trying to be in that state of mind, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, and then run the hell out the ball. Run the hell out the ball, but y'all don't even do that. Remember early in the season, Aaron Rodgers was saying, hey man, we got a running game. Remember that? And then he ended up throwing 40 touchdowns. I'm not in the locker room, Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if he a clown or not. But I know one thing: the people who run the Green Bay Packers front office, they seem to be clowns. So me personally, I would get rid of him. Move on to Justin Love, and I like Justin Love, but is he ready? And if he's not ready, that's your fault too. Wheeler, why is it this white boy who beat the hell out this black woman getting pressed from white-facing media? Talk to me. I'm listening. And again, before you answer, Joe, before you answer, I want to let everybody know, if you go to the YouTube page and you want to be a part of the show, click the link and your face will appear right before me and Joe. This is Built for This Network. This is the End of the Bench Podcast. Holla at your boy, Joe.
Man, this is one of the weirdest situations ever because I know why it's not getting the media hype that it should. But it pains me to say why, because the fact of the matter is this was domestic violence, and it's from a player of the NFL, and it wasn't broadcast on every media outlet ever, because we all remember the Ray Rice situation. As far as it goes, before the video came out, his name was still shown everywhere. Ray Rice did. Then once the video came out, then it was all over. You couldn't sell Ray Rice anything, you know. So as far as it goes for this guy Wheeler to have did about it. Who else will speak about it? So it's disgusting. It's disgusting. True. Go ahead.
Okay, I was reading RC's comment. It says, what I want to know is, does the brother have brothers? Does the sister have brothers, sisters, and cousins? He needs to get his beep whipped at a bare minimum. Shout out to RC. I'm down with that. I'm down with RC. With that being said, hey man, it is criminal negligence of the white-facing mainstream media, not to mention that this man is a woman beater. He's not a dude who had an incident in which he lost his cool. He choked this woman out. I wish, you know what, this is gonna sound, y'all not gonna follow me on this one. I wish this girl named Stephanie I used to hang out with was listening to the show right now. You know why? Because Stephanie used to always call herself a feminist. Because she's standing up for the feminist movement. And I used to throw it in her face. Now you black. Hey Stephanie, what are feminist groups that acting the fool with the NFL? You know, like the people that acting the fool with the NFL with the dogs. With our brother Michael Vick. Remember that? We couldn't. I don't even watch ESPN no more. But guess what? I have literally set my recordings for ESPN, and I haven't seen much talk about this dude. And then people trying to act like because he's a backup player and he's a second-tier player, nobody's talking about it. And if me and RC wish come true, and my man get the Fox put on him, somebody in her family will go to jail for touching up my sister, my aunt, my cousin. So, shame on anybody who is covering it. Shame on everybody but Brandon Marshall, because Brandon Marshall kicked him in his face, and Shannon Sharp. All the rest of them dudes, they gave that. Even my man Louis Riddick, they ain't had Louis on TV because they know Louis is speaker. My man RC, and they ain't had my man Big DeMarcus talk about it either. It's a damn shame, man. This second week in a row, we talked about it, and it's been 7 whole days on the Tony Braxton side of the game that we ain't heard nothing from mainstream white-facing media. But we're about saving the women, right? Guess what? This is the same thing that happened when that kicker with the Giants beat up his girlfriend, and they had to house her in another room at the Pro Bowl. Speak on it.
I won't say that. I don't know. I was actually going to say that because this is the second time where, somebody without my complexion was able to heat up on a woman and still have a good name.
And guess what? This has nothing to do with sports. But our favorite show better do an episode on this. Law and Order needs to, because when Chris Brown got in trouble, it was an episode on Law and Order. When Ray Rice got in trouble, it was an episode on. They actually combined Ray Rice and OJ on one episode. Yeah, I saw it. So I need to see this white boy who the backup quarterback do this. Because see this, and this is why I keep telling people, HRap, man, you always go racial. HRap, you got to cool out, man. White people ain't gonna listen. If you watching on YouTube, look at my face. I don't give a damn. Because if beating up a white woman is messed up, beating up a sister's messed up too. And I ain't trying to hear it. They can't, because it will show that they handled this, how he handled the arresting officer. I forgot about that. Big Illinois, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for the joy and love, microwave. Much love. Yeah, because this man beating up on police officers. Oh, Donald Trump and the MAGA and the Republican Party and the Proud Boys, the Law and Order people. Where y'all at when you got a football player beating the hell out of cops? Oh, but that only counts when you look like me. That only counts when you look like me. So if you don't turn off my show because I keep throwing up your inconsistencies in your face, as I say at the end of every show, 2 fingers, 1 word, you out. Because I ain't got time for it. But yeah, man. And this is why I look at folks crazy when they are, you know what, you'll probably get more white people if you did. There's 44 million black people in this country. If I can get 1/2 or 1% of them to listen, I'll be more successful than I ever wanted to be. Now, if the Latino brothers and the Asian brothers and the white brothers, they want to listen, that's cool. You're welcome. You click the link that's in the YouTube thing too, and you check me out. But no, man, this is some BS, and it's a sad commentary. Well, my man, it's Howard Bryant. Where you at, bro? This is our time. I ain't trying to say we need to capitalize on this sister getting smoked, but this is our time to shine. This is our time to shine, because if you do it that way, show us some fake equity. That's all I'm saying. Equality. Excuse me, I say equity. Equality. Show some fake equality. Exactly. I ain't trying to hit none of that, man. But that's how it goes. And I'm not even angry. It's just I'm gonna keep it pushing. Due to this being Super Bowl week, I got my man Kirby Alexander in the building, in the place to be. What's good, brother? That's Juice, right? That's Juice, right? Oh, okay. Matthew Stafford, it's Super Bowl week. There will be no announcements about anything football-wise Super Bowl week. But the cat was let out the bag that Matthew Stafford, at the end of this, when the Super Bowl whistle go off, that Sports Center that night, they're going to talk about how it's official that the trade went through. NFL does not let that. We're going to talk about Super Bowl this week. We ain't talking about nothing else. Jason Goff is traded for Matthew Stafford. What are your thoughts on that?
It was weird. As far as it goes, we knew Matthew Stafford his time in Detroit was done. It's been a lot of injury playing the last few seasons in regards to it. We know we've always called him Stat Pafford because he was always going to put them stats up as many yards as possible. But just like we've talked about, put up some stats all throughout the regular season, but he has no playoff wins to show for it. Team didn't make it to the playoffs that many times, but when he got there, he folded like a lawn chair. As far as it goes with golf, Rams ready to move on. Granted, he got them to a Super Bowl. Granted, it wasn't all on him, but the offense ran the ball as much as possible, and he made timely throws, so he was able to get them to the Super Bowl. But as far as it goes, they can't see it going forward with him. So I know I did speak a couple weeks ago about I want Matthew Stafford to come to the Colts. But as far as it goes, go there. Do what you got to do with the Rams. I'm still waiting. I'm still trying to push for Deshaun Watson. I'm hoping and praying for it.
I was waiting on you to laugh after you said Jason Goff got the Rams to the Super Bowl. You ain't gonna laugh? That's not a joke? I was hoping you were gonna yeah! I thought you were gonna do that. But that's neither here nor there. Jason Goff is clearly he is a product of the system. Microwave mentioned it today. They pulled the skirt back and found out that Jason Goff is the Wizard of Oz, and McVay is like that, pulling all the levers and everything. Microwave documented it. If you don't know who Microwave is, Microwave X Squad Radio. Go follow X Squad Radio Tuesdays and Fridays. Now, he says 85% chance he's not gonna be on Friday, but every Tuesday morning he gonna get it in. But again, man, this is another situation to whereas this exposes and again, I'm going racial. This exposes the racism in the National Football League because Jason Goff doesn't have a strong NFL. He doesn't have a quality NFL arm. Jason Goff does not know how to read defenses. So why the hell isn't Jamarcus Russell in the league again? My bad. I keep bringing up the obvious. I'm Captain Obvious around here. But this shows just how horrible that the Rams are. The Rams literally handcuffed themselves trading this dude. They can't. Everybody keeps saying they ain't extend him. They ain't extend Stafford. They can't afford to. They got to cut half the team if they extend him. And Stafford know that. With this dude McVay, I don't know why I keep want to call him Todd McShay. This dude McVay, he one of the better offensive minds in the league. Only person I can honestly say that I think got it more on the ball than this coach out in LA is the coach in Kansas City. Him and Eric Bieniemy and this dude, they the top 3 minds, they the top 2 minds in football right now, if you ask me. 1 and 2. Andy and this dude, this shows just how bad golf is. We will basically destroy all our depth to get rid of you. And we're going to send you to football hell. We're going to send you to football Siberia, a.k.a. the Detroit Lions, to do it. So, and this is why I say, hey, man, good riddance. If it's me, you couldn't have gave me that dude for all the money in the world. I'm like, nah, we're going to go ahead and struggle. We going to struggle. Now, if I'm the Rams, thank you, Jesus. Like Samuel Jackson said in Jungle Fever, thank you, Jesus. God, Jesus, and 4 more white people. That's what I'd have said if I'd have been getting them. But ain't no way in here. I'd have told the Rams, we need a second team in this. We need to get rid of it. We don't want this dude. He stinks. He's probably been infected by that what's his name? Fisher, the coach used to be the coach for the Titans and for the Rams. He probably got some of that infection juice still on him. But dudes suck. I think it's a good move by them. And it is what it is. And the next topic brings me right to where we want to be. Jared Goff. Yeah, Jared Goff, he's horrible microwave. The Raiders are trying to get Watson, thank God Jesus, and 4 more white people again, looking for another team to trade Derek Carr. San Francisco wants Kirk Cousins. RC is at the crib. He got God Jesus and 4 more white people on the carpet with him praying. RC is temporarily converted to Islam because he's praying 5 days a week that his team can get rid of Kirk Cousins. I'm calling the Vikings. He said calling the Vikings headquarters more than Jersey, a.k.a. Chief Rocker, calls the Giants. Let them know that to put the stamp on his forehead and ship him out of Minnesota. Hey, I want him to go too because, again, the Vikings is another one of those teams, to me, when the Cowboys, the Giants, the Bears, the Vikings, the Packers, the 49ers, and maybe the racial slurs, when they are good, the NFL is good, if you ask me. I mean, and that's not because maybe even the Raiders. It used to be the Raiders, but I'm not gonna give the Raiders that much pub no more because they've been straight garbage truck juice for the last 10, 15 years. So I can't give them that. But those teams, when they're good, the league is good. If you look back historically, when the Vikings and those teams that I just named were good. Jimmy G don't want Jimmy G, Illinois, sent him back to New England. Bill Belichick ain't trying to hear that. But David Culley, the head coach of the Texas, I almost call him the Rangers, the Houston Texans. What are your thoughts on the hire? What are your thoughts about that entire situation? Deshaun won't out of there. These biggest running the team, alleged biggest running the team. Talk to me. Holla at your boy. And again, if you want to be a part of the show, go to YouTube, click the link, and you too can chat it up with me and Joe. I'm listening, Joe.
As far as it goes, being down here in Houston, rumors are around. As far as it goes, they try to do anything they could to keep Deshaun Watson. In regards to he expressed his interest in wanting to leave, on how they wanted to hire. He wanted to hire a black coach. And as far as it goes, they went and got the oldest guy that they could to say, hey, let's make you the coach for this guy. I mean, he expressed his feelings that he wanted Eric Bieniemy. As far as it goes, if you really wanted Deshaun Watson to stay, you would have tried to get Eric Bieniemy to be your head coach. But that's not what happened. So, Culley is getting a raw deal because as far as it goes, his mind state was coming in, all right, I'm gonna be the one to hold on to Deshaun and we're gonna try and make a move. Deshaun like, no, that's not what we're doing. You hired the last black coach in the possibility of it to try and save face. I'm still trying to get up out of here. So as far as it goes, they need to figure out what they're gonna do to Deshaun Watson. He's ready to sit down or not play. Then you messed up overall.
Well, you know what? I think this is indicative of black coaches being hired in all over sports. This is why everybody was up in arms about Steve Nash getting that job with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Brothers don't get jobs like that. Monty Williams get the damn New Orleans Pelicans job, and he got Manny Moore and Jack out there on his team. Mark Jackson get the upstart. We didn't know they was gonna be the Golden State Warriors. Doc Rivers get a bunch of booty poops. He goes down to Orlando and then they have to beg to get T-Mac and a busted up Grant Hill. And then, we can see it time and time again. Art Shell gets the Raiders when Al Davis on his last leg trying to win tonight, not trying to win for the long run. Can't really blame an 80-year-old man for trying to win now. Man, I'm not making no excuses, but damn, I'm not playing for the future either. But we can go Jim Caldwell get the Lions job. Jim Caldwell gets popped when Peyton Manning and Neck go out. It's just you always get the short end of the stick. Marvin Lewis gets the worst team on earth, wins 7 playoff runs, and the teams that's beating him is the teams that's winning the Super Bowl that's in his division. So you always get the short end of the stick when you the brother. And here's another example of it. This dude is a respected coach throughout the league, and I don't feel sorry for him because Deshaun Watson said this 2 months ago: "Get me up out of here." And you took the job a month ago. You knew he was walking out the door. They couldn't have sold me on he gonna be here. Or he just carrying the water because he know what it is. The second thing is, I think it's kind of disrespectful to say he ain't gonna be nothing, the team ain't gonna be nothing, because I'm here to change that situation. Look at how Raheem Morris turned around the Atlanta Falcons team. Did they become juggernauts? No. But they became razor sharp and more focused, and they were in a lot of those games. Like Chief Rocker says, they didn't get beat. They lost games. They didn't get beat. He's talking about his Giants. I'm talking about the Falcons. That dude who coaching the Giants, they were devoid of talent. He walked in the door and made them a little better. So if the coach is right, you can at least get them up to respect. Get them like Brian Flores last year with the Miami Dolphins. Everybody was telling me I was crazy. You just doing it because he a brother. I was like, nah, man, I'm hearing things. And this is the reason I utilize Twitter. I talk to a lot of people on Twitter. I slide into the DM on some of these reporters, let them holler at me. It's off the record. And then I'll have a better perspective of what's going on. So that situation, Brian Flores, looking, this year they won double-digit games. So, and they got Fitz Magic down there as the quarterback halfway. So I don't really feel sorry for him. What I do think about is I think if I look at the history of the Tennessee, Houston Texans, right? They did draft J.J. Watt. They did draft a bunch of talent around him. Andre Johnson. They did have a decent offensive line at one point. Don't get me wrong, folks. Don't try to hold me to Houston Texans got good talent. They have put good talent on the field at every position at one point or another. So I do respect their scouts. If this dude's a solid coach, you can get you a journeyman quarterback, a Fitzmagic, anybody, and sit there until somebody comes down the pipe. We don't know who Dak Prescott is coming down the pipeline in this college draft. It's a Dak Prescott in every draft. A dude who's going to put up big numbers, who got leadership qualities. If you give him opportunity, he'll be solid. So I don't feel sorry for him in that instance. But it's just another situation to whereas these guys that look like us get these shitty opportunities and they have to make brick without straw. That's my only issue with this entire situation. Shout out to Big Illinois for the cash out. Shout out to Lauren Hicks for the cash out. And shout out LBGTQ Juice for the cash out.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
So with that, that's why I say I don't feel sorry for him. It's just another situation where the bros get screwed. Ben Worthlessberger. He restructured his contract so the Steelers wouldn't cut his bum ass. What are your thoughts on that?
Big Ben is what we know. We've said that quite a few years now. He can't make it through a full season. Why are we, I don't understand what's going on in regards to him. If he, it's all can't make it through the season. So you pretty much reconstructing your reconstruct these contracts to make sure that you keep Big Ben on the job, but it ain't happening. It doesn't look right. They ain't wasting their money for in regards to it. That's all I see.
Well, I definitely think he needs to go, but in regards to the salary cap, I think he did them a solid. He could have just kept them on the reel for more money over more times, and he gonna get a little Bobby Bonilla money. I think he out of there next year. But this is a perfect situation to where a perfect example of a dude is worth this past his prime. He's not gonna be able to do what he used to do. He's gonna look like Drew Brees. Mike Tomlin is a good enough coach to get them where they need to be next year. Mike Tomlin won 8 games without being. Listen to that. Mike Tomlin won 8 games without being. So if you are worth anything, if you are half of what you think the world thinks you are, you should have made a kick ass this year. But he's not. He's finished. There's nothing wrong with being an older ball player who's aged out of the league. A lot of people do that. That's not a crime. But I just think Ben Roethlisberger, they can't let him go this year because of the salary cap hit. Next year, he's going to be out of here. They ain't got none of that money to pay. They're going to pay him. They're going to Bobby Bonilla him out, and they need to be looking for a quarterback. Everybody keeps saying the Steelers need to hit the reset button. As far as I know, the Pittsburgh Steelers rarely hit the reset button. As they used to say at Florida State and the University of Miami, we don't hit reset, retool. The Pittsburgh Steelers have an excellent scouting department. They have an excellent player development department. I expect nothing but excellence from them. Big ups to the Pittsburgh Steelers for doing this. I think Roethlisberger needs to be out of there, but you can't get rid of him. What's the chances of Andrew Luck coming back?
Okay. As far as it goes, I would love. I'm gonna give it about 60%. Of course, by me being a Colts fan, I've seen Andrew Luck do his thing. He went down, he left because of injury, so I can't be mad at him because he had some bad years in regards to playing quarterback for the Colts. But as far as it goes, I think I'm giving about 6%. I don't think he'll come back to the Colts, but whoever needs him, he will be formidable enough because I'm sure he's been staying in tune in regards to at least keeping his skills intact. But I would love to see him back.
So you think it's a 60% chance that he comes back?
Oh yeah, man, yeah. I mean, I really think he will come back because I feel that in regards to when he actually did retire, it was more so like, hey, I just need some time off to just get my body back right. And he may be on the verge of just trying to say, okay, let's do it. So more times than not, I'll say yeah, he'll probably come back.
I think he's done. I think just floating it out there. Jim Irsay floated that out there because that's what he wants to happen. When you leave football, one of them games, it ain't one of them retire, come back kind of games. I just think he's done, and he considers himself an intellectual, and he's kind of nerdy and aloof. I think it's over for Andrew. It would shock me if he ever played another snap of football because as far as coming back, I think that's just Jim Irsay is he got his wish list together, and Luck coming back is at the very top of it, and it's not gonna happen. If you were Jacksonville Jaguars, would you trade that first pick for Deshaun Watson?
Oh, of course. As far as it goes, we talked about this. As far as needed, he would be very much better than Gardner Minshew. As we talked about, give Wiz report another week that he's getting mentioned. But anyway, we've already talked about no one in a division. Well, Houston is not going to allow Deshaun Watson to go in the division because, truthfully, all 3 teams can use it. The Colts can, the Jaguars can, the Titans can. But Houston would be fooled to put him in the division against them.
I wouldn't. I take my chances on the young boy because, first of all, Deshaun Watson wouldn't approve that trade because they had rock ass bottom of the barrel. He wouldn't approve that one. Again, I just think this is another one of those things they floating out there, so people have something to talk about. I don't think that's about it. It would be nice to see it happen, but I would be because I think Jacksonville is a solid franchise. I like the way the Players Association put pressure on the owner, and the owner was like, my man, you got to go. Do with the Giants. I can't think his name right now. He won the 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. Number 1 pick involved. I think they'll listen. Yeah, Tom Coughlin. The Players Association put a memo out. Don't nobody sign with Jacksonville, and Coughlin got fired. So that means that they're actually trying to win. And if you look at the system down there, they traded everybody away because they honestly hit the reset button last year. And even with Gardner Minshew and all that big time players gone, the Jacksonville Jaguars played some solid football last year. So I respect the organization. My man Ryan, what's his name? The head coach down there, Urban Meyer. I like him as a pro coach because then he could probably still slide $2,000-$3,000 to some college players. And, he can get real dirty down there. And I like him. I think he's a good head coach. I think he needs to stay away from college because the rules are always bent. And I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want to go down there if I was Deshaun and I'm hitting my stride. He's about to enter his prime. I don't want to go into a rebuilding situation. If anybody, I think the Miami Dolphins with 4 picks and the first 44 players pick will be Dolphins. I think you can give up Tua, and you can give up some people and get Deshaun Watson. And then they run in that Bill Belichick system, whereas the quarterback just needs to make big time plays, and they already got a defense in order. And I think that's where he's going to ultimately end up at. I don't think the Jets got a snowball chance of fish grease to get him, so they need to stop talking that Jet stuff. I think he's eating up Miami or San Francisco, and then it's church on the move. The Super Bowl, man. They asked a question today, and this is not on our list. They asked a question today. And I asked the same question last week. I want to get it more in depth with it. What's the chances on my man Patrick Mahomes being the GOAT? What would it take for him to be the GOAT? And I got a question that Microwave used today. Is he the GOAT? Is Brady the GOAT? I'm listening to both of them. And again, if you want to be a part of this, just click the link on YouTube, and I'd love to hear your opinion as well. Is Brady the GOAT, and what does it take for Patrick Mahomes to pass?
It's to actually say that because, as far as it goes, my generation, as far as I can watch football, Tom Brady been winning Super Bowls since I've physically been watching football. In regards to everything, he's been the epitome of. Well, he's had some bad. He had the greatest Super Bowl games, but he's as Skip say, he's made those big throws, the timely throws when he needed, and they got in position to kick those field goals, and he won his games. As far as it goes, yes, he's considered the GOAT of this generation, and now we never usually get where it's like we see that we've seen it a couple times, but we don't never get on this magnitude. We never get that up and coming star with that person that we felt was the legend and get them to clash. So I think that's why the big hype is coming from, because everyone considers Brady the GOAT. Everybody considers Patrick Mahomes becoming the GOAT. So by them squaring off, even though either one of them play defense, whoever comes out on top will be considered the top man in the game because they beat the other in regards to this. So it's real weird. But I do got Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs coming out on top in regards to this game because that's what I feel. Boy is good. That boy is good. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is good. He stepped on the scene, first year starting, and did his thing. As Shannon Sharp said a couple days ago, he'll never be able to have a mediocre season because of what he did stepping on the field. Like, once he got on that field and took off, you can never have a mediocre season. So it's only up from here. So if he beats Tom Brady in the midst of this, he's a lot of talks about being the GOAT.
Oh, well, me, Juice and out west, my man DJ Chuck and Juice, they made 2 statements. Juice said he's the GOAT of the last 20 years. And DJ Chuck said he needs to win 4 more Super Bowls to become the GOAT in the GOAT conversation. I agree with both of those statements. I don't rate him as the GOAT. And it has nothing to do because Kirby Alexander, or AKA we know him as Big Juice, I kind of introduced him to Tom Brady. Me and him used to talk all the time, and he wasn't real big on Tom Brady. And I actually told him, check him out. Tom Brady's the man. This is early in Brady's career. He was 1 Super Bowl strong. I said, no, dude is nice. So it's not that I don't like Tom Brady, but when I think of you as the GOAT, like, okay, I'm going to go from 2 different angles to work with. The first angle is the Michael Jordan GOAT. LeBron can never pass Michael Jordan because LeBron lost in the finals. 6 for 6, 6 MVPs. That's the traditional mainstream white-facing media way to say Michael Jordan's the GOAT. If you go by those parameters, there's no way in hell Tom Brady's the GOAT. Because he's lost the Super Bowls, and not only did Michael Jordan being Finals MVP in 6 of them, says he didn't even have a bad finals, which is harder to do than to have a bad game. So you've had bad Super Bowls, Mike didn't. So that eliminates you. The losses and the bad instances eliminates you from the conversation, if you ask me. Now, the reason I consider in regards to the Super Bowl era, because I ain't see Sid Luckman and all those dudes and Paul Hornung and all those dudes. Well, Paul Hornung was running back. But all those guys back in the day in black and white and Johnny Unitas and all those guys, I didn't see those guys play, so I can't intelligently speak on them. But Joe Montana will always be the Super Bowl era GOAT, simply because, as I stated on Microwave Show earlier today, Joe Montana has never had a bad Super Bowl game. It was a nip and tuck game the first time against the Bengals. The Bengals had a big time defense. Joe came, rose to the occasion in the 4th quarter, orchestrated the offense. They were in their first one. People don't realize that Joe Montana had 2 Super Bowls before he heard the 2 words together, strung together, Jerry and Rice. He had 2 Super Bowl titles at that point. And one of his Super Bowl titles was a 15-1 season. So that's another thing. I personally think it was stiffer competition in a much tougher game to play. People love to talk about like the 90s basketball was more rough and physical. Now it's just the way you play basketball. You don't touch each other. On paper, it's played like that. In real life, it's not. But the NFL, my man Joe Montana, he had to beat Richard Dent and the Chicago Bears. Richard Dent, Stevie Michael, William Perry, Todd Bell, Todd Bell and Al Harris, and the rest of that Ponce Bears defense. He also had to beat the Redskins, Charles Mann, Wilbur Marshall, and that crew, and McMillan, Matt Millett and that crew. He had to beat that crew, Darryl Green as well. He had to beat that crew. He had to beat Lawrence Taylor, Leonard Marshall, and that crew. Then he was doing battle with them in 2 different decades. Had it not been for injuries, he could potentially win even more Super Bowls. He involved in Kansas City and do his thing over there. Did he get to the Super Bowl? No, he didn't. Not like Tom Brady did, but that's another situation. As to quote the great Warren Sapp, they put an Autobahn up the middle of the football field. You can't touch receivers until they hit the ground and get squared on the field. So I think due to the way the league is shaped and the way it has changed, he'll never be able to pass it. The most important thing is, as I'm stating with the receivers, me, Microwave, and our receivers debating earlier, and Joe Montana's impact on the game is a mother. Let's not even mention the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles had Jerome Brown, Clyde Simmons, Seth Joyner, and Reggie White on the same team. Andre Muddy Waters as well, cheap shot and playing dirty football all the way. And that's teams that didn't win the Super Bowl. The Minnesota Vikings had Keith Millard and that crew up there. These are teams that didn't even win. So I think it was stiffer competition, and he showed and proved more times than not. And the last time I checked, call me crazy, when Tom Brady plays against a vaunted, if Chief Rock is still in the chat room, ask him on Chief Rock and Jersey Vern, when Tom Brady goes up against the NASCAR package, Tom Brady ain't Tom Brady no more. Tom Brady is not Tom Brady against the NASCAR pack. But Joe Montana is Joe Montana against every pack. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he danced. He folds. You saw it against the Denver Broncos. You saw it against the Ravens. You saw it against the early Steelers. You saw it against the Giants. Every time he run up against somebody with some pass rush, Tom Brady ain't Tom Brady no more. So you can't be the GOAT when I can say, see, you the man until this happens. When that happens, you're supposed to show up and show out. Am I saying Tom Brady's a scrub? No. Am I saying Tom Brady is not one of the top 5 quarterbacks? Even though I don't really do that. No. Is he one of the greatest of all time? Is his position in the me and Big Chris from the show used to call it the big boy room. Does Tom Brady belong in the big boy room? Hell yeah. But he's just not. He's just not at the head of the table. Joe Montana's at the head of the table. In regards to Patrick Mahomes potentially being the greatest, I agree with Chuck. If Patrick Mahomes win 4 Super Bowl and never lose one, I think he'll go in front of Brady, because you can talk about the cheating. If you want to say Tom Brady had the advantage because Bill Belichick is cheating, cool. I'm gonna let you have that. But you better drop Tom Brady down on your fictitious list then, because if my coach was cheating and I benefited from it, I'm not as great as y'all say I am. So either y'all gonna stop saying Bill Belichick is a cheater, or y'all gonna drop Tom Brady on y'all fictitious, magical, greatest of all time list. Because if my coach was cheating and I'm just saying, if my coach was cheating and that's the reason I won the first 3 Super Bowls, I benefited from that cheating. And if I benefited from that, you think it's just the defense? If I know what the offense is going to do, I know what the defense is going to do. Dude, already a defensive genius. So, no. Well, people don't want to see. That's the argument that I love to see people have. Well, it's this and it's that. Bill Belichick cheated. So, Bill Belichick cheated. You benefited from the cheating. It's the fruit of the poisonous tree, as they say in legal terms. Tom Brady, you're not the man. Now, one thing I don't like about this Patrick Mahomes thing, people always say, well, he got the Kelsey, and he got the cheetah, Tyreek Hill, and he got the kid from Clemson. I've never been thinking this kid's name, the big wide receiver from Clemson. Watkins, that's his name. He got Watkins, and he got the kid out of Georgia. He got all these weapons. He got Alaris Bay, and he got my man Le'Veon. And see, that's why he killing it. Like, that's why he putting up those numbers. But guess what? Dan Fouts has never won an NFC Championship game. And he had Joyner, he had Brooks, he had Muncie, he had John Jefferson, and he had a whole bunch of guys on his team. And he never won an NFC Championship game. The aforementioned James Lofton, Reed, and Thermal, Jim Kelly never won a Super Bowl. We can go. Boomer Esiason had Ickey Shuffle. He had Chris Collinsworth. He had James Brooks, and he had other talent around him, and he never won a Super Bowl with a gang of talent around him. We can go chop all those guys: Chris Collar, Randy Moss, Robert Smith, Jake Reed up in Minnesota. They didn't get to the Super Bowl. You can talk about all this talent, but you still got to be when you the trigger man. Somebody got to get shot, and Patrick Mahomes is shooting people. Right. He is shooting people. So, hey, your guy, Peyton Manning, had Dallas Clark, Pro Bowl tight end, Big Ten offensive line. He had Edgerrin James. He had Edgerrin James. He had Harrison and Wayne, and he won 1 Super Bowl. So it's easy to say, I got all this talent, that's why I won, when we can show you chapter, book, and verse of all that talent, and you don't win. I'm listening. Speak.
I would say Phillip Rivers. Like, we talk about Phillip Rivers. We talk about Phillip Rivers having Antonio Gates.
Facts.
So he's had the packages and all that. They just couldn't get it done. So as far as it goes, just because you have weapons, don't mean you're gonna be the best team.
Right.
That don't mean you're gonna make it do everything that needs to be done when it counts.
Right. I mean, all the talent that was in Atlanta. I mean, we can go top the book and verse. Michael Wade just said the Philadelphia Eagles had the dream team with Vince Young and Michael Vick and Michael Slick and Michael Dick and then all these, and didn't win nothing. The Pittsburgh Steelers do it every year. It's a boatload of talent in the state of Pennsylvania, just in football, on the east and the west side of the state, and they not winning Super Bowls every year. So it's easy to sit back and just watch ESPN and watch the highlights and look at the numbers. Please, don't bring the fantasy numbers to you, man. You need to bring some substance to me. If you ain't got no substance, you're not going to convince me of anything.
Touche.
Oh, and like you said, Phillip Rivers, Jackson, Gates, Tomlinson, nothing. So, and think about this. At this point, Mahomes is the football version of Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas don't break his ankle, it's a good chance they the 3P, right? If my man don't go offside on back-to-back plays, they might have beat the Patriots, and this might be his run for a 3P. So it's easy to sit back and say, "Oh, Rivers is this." Now, what I will say, Mahomes is this. What I will say about Mahomes is this: he's benefiting from this no tackle football. I say that. I love Patrick Mahomes as a Raider fan, but he's benefiting from this soft ass football that they're playing. Now, I would give him that, but hey, you can only play what they want to play.
Yep.
You can't change that, but you can only do it because guess what? My man, exactly. My man Russell Wilson, he ain't getting it done. Deshaun is getting it done, but his team is trash. Jameis Winston ain't getting it done. Aaron Rodgers ain't getting it done. Aaron Rodgers got talent up there in Green Bay. He ain't got as much talent, but he's supposed to be the greatest thrower of football we've ever seen. Second to Dan Marino and Dan Marino, another one. But he ain't getting it done. This kid has played, he has started 3 years and played in 3 AFC Championship games and won 2. He could potentially be on the, that's what I said. If he wins, let's say he goes for 3. He does a 3P. And then he don't win no more for 10 years and then win 2 more like Brady did. And another myth of them, right. What I'm gonna do is to still destroy another myth. And I'm tired of this. It's 2 myths I'm gonna destroy right now. One of them in football and one of them in basketball. Because I'm tired of the media overhyping nonsense. It's foolishness. The first media I'm gonna destroy, thing I'm gonna destroy, Mythbusters, end of the bench version. Stop telling me that Tom Brady ain't had no talent. He got arguably the greatest quarterback, the greatest tight end in the history of the game. So y'all keep telling me he better than Gonzalez. So he better than Schaub. He better than Kellen Winslow. No, he not. It's a different league. I ain't trying to hear it. But you had Grunt. You even had Hernandez. Branch is no bum. Brown is no bum. The kid from Florida, I can never think of his name. Number 82. Can't think of his name. Light-skinned brother. They haven't had the cream of the crop receivers, but as I stated earlier in the show, it's not about having the best talent. I challenge anybody in here, including Chief Rocker, to name the 2 receivers on Joe Montana Super Bowl winning team. Chief Rocker might know, but he might know one of them, but I bet you he don't know the other one. Name the 3 receivers on the second one. I give you 2 of them. And one of them is from the first one. So I want to hear about he didn't have Randy Moss. He didn't have T.O. He didn't have the best of all time. But guess what? Did Michael Way 18 win the Super Bowl a couple years ago with Alshon Jeffrey? And a dude, Alvarez, who couldn't catch a cold naked wet. So I ain't trying to hear that. Oh, he won without. No, man. Who said that? Nope. John Taylor was on the second with Michael Wade. Nope. Chief Rocker. Jerry Rice was on the third one. Justice South. Nope. It was Mike Wilson and Dwight Clark. I'm shocked. I'm shocked to no end that Michael Wade and Chief Rocker didn't know that. Mike Wilson, because we should call him Mike Catch a Ball Wilson, because he was only going to catch 1 or 2. And Dwight Clark was on the first one. Them start. Solomon was the third receiver. He right on that one. But so I ain't trying to hear all this. He's doing magic tricks. Yeah. Willie McGinnis, potential Hall of Famer. The kid they sent to Oakland, who asked for more money, big light-skinned brother, defensive lineman, he gonna be a Hall of Fame. He up for the Hall of Fame. You got Pro Bowler Teddy Bruschi. You got Pro Bowler, the white boy who you coaching down there with the Titans now. And you got the another pro. You had Brian Cox on that team. You got Lloyd Malloy and Ty Law. And then he's had a bunch of players throughout the years. So if they can't score, we can't beat you. You can't beat me. If they 3-0 in the other team, Seymour. Thank you, RC. So this dude has had a boatload of defensive talent. Again, this is not to low-grade Tom. Tom is dope. But stop with that lie, he ain't had enough talent. He's had adequate receivers. Hey, Eli Manning, ain't nobody, when you talk about the greatest receivers on, ain't nobody talking about Plexico Burrs. Hey, remember when he was early in Pittsburgh, he used to always get hurt. And Shannon Sharp called him Plexiglass Burrs. Mario Manningham, Amani Toomer. Ain't nobody talking about them dudes when you, hey man, make sure you get Amani Toomer. Ain't nobody saying that. So miss me with this nonsense about, oh man, you got to have the best talent in the world to win the Super Bowl. Second myth I'm going to destroy, and I'm tired, I don't never want to hear this myth again, I'm going to hear it a lot anyway. Michael Jordan got cut from the basketball team. Michael Jordan was a sophomore trying out for varsity. Stop that lie, y'all. Michael Jordan didn't get cut from varsity. He was a sophomore trying to play with the juniors. Stop it. That's that lie right there. That's worse than this Brady didn't play with no talent lie. You ain't got Michael Jordan's one of the dopest ball players you ever gonna see. I don't care what the 60s, 70s, 80s, 2000, 2020. Mike would have been the man. So you ain't got to keep telling this lie. Exactly. She's right. He never had an A-class receiver. But so I ain't trying to hear this nonsense. Oh man, Tom Brady, he was out there playing with a couple slaves. No. He didn't have the best receivers in the league. Yeah, he didn't have. But look, you got 2 Hall of Famers playing with Peyton. How many Super Bowls he won? 1. Even though I do believe Rod Smith deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, John Elway didn't win one with them 2 with Rod Smith and Ed McCaffrey. They ain't going to the Hall of Fame. Well, even though Rod's supposed to be there, in my personal opinion, John Elway won 2 with them. Ain't nobody talking about Rod Smith and Ed McCaffrey. So that's a lie. That's a lie. I'm tired of this is what make guys who are not big time Tom Brady fans go, hey man, I don't like him. You just end up creating. I don't like Brett Favre. Is all that. He plays like a child. Yeah, kids can't read defenses either. Because he was hitting wide open linebackers and DBs. Right. So man, that's what make people like me not like those dudes. Yeah, MJ got cut from varsity, Chuck. He got cut from varsity. He was 15 years old, and he couldn't play with the 16 and the 17-year-old. So, they need to stop that. With that being said, the Super Bowl is going to be played Sunday. We about to hit the wrap it up button. Talk to me about the game. Who you got?
I'm going with the Chiefs. As you said at the beginning of the show, to start off, I want it to be a great Super Bowl. I want defense to go out of the way, and I want it to be a 55-56 point game. In regards to both offense, I do believe that they're going to be scoring on both sides, a lot of it, and more so whoever has the ball last, usually more time it goes. But if it goes the way I want it to go, whoever has the ball last is going to come out on top by a couple points. So like I said, I want it to be a 55-51 game, but I do have the Chiefs.
I don't think it's gonna be that high. I think it's. I personally.
Let me wish, man.
Now I don't even want it to be a 50. That's not football to me. That's shit. That's too many points for a football game. Just to me, I would literally turn. I mean, if I was at the crib and there was that many points being scored in the Super Bowl, I would be like, this sucks. Todd Bowles and and what's the Steve Spagnuolo, they ain't gonna happen. But personally, I think this is gonna be an ass whooping of epic proportions for Tom Brady. I don't think that it. Okay. Everybody keep talking about these 2 tackles that are absent. You need tackles. Exactly, Microwave. You need tackles. That goes without saying. My man Jason Pierre-Paul, salute to that brother. This brother out here like this, with digits missing off his hand, and he came back full circle. He kicking ass. He playing at a big time level, showing up in big time situation. The Tampa Bay defense is off the chain. Shout out to Todd Bowles and this myth that Doofus Bayless is trying to perpetuate. He went to the Succaneers. The Succaneers were 9-7 last year. They had a quarterback have 35 turnovers, else they would have been better. So this ain't the 1977 Hugh Culverhouse Tampa Bay Buccaneers, pre-Doug Williams Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The only reason I actually like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they got my man out of Grambling State University, Eddie Robinson's big time quarterback. That's the only reason I even pay attention to the Buccaneers. That's the first team that I saw with a good black quarterback. And Bears had a brother named Vince Evans. He was high, but the brother Doug Williams. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. So it's not like the damn Buccaneers were just a ragtag bunch of zeros and Tom Brady showed up, pulled his joint out and said, "Follow me." No. It's a good team. Last year, the homie Jameis was adjusting to a new offense and freaked a bunch of games. That's it. That's all. Tom Brady is a very good quarterback at this point in his career. At this point in his career, he's a quality quarterback, and we know he know how to get things done, right? So we're not gonna jump out the window and act like Tom Brady invented football again. We're not doing it. Solid football team. They gave him a running game. They gave him an offensive line. 2 things that Jameis didn't have. So they act like the Buccaneers are doing something. But back to Andy Reid. Andy Reid is the reason I'm going to do this. If Andy Reid, Todd Bowles is a very good defensive coordinator. But I've seen Andy Reid outdo the great Bill Belichick. I've seen him do it regularly, too. I've seen him shut him down. I believe Williams and other running backs in Kansas City are going to be the catalyst for this victory. Tom Brady, what nobody you want to talk about, he ain't got no offensive line, but Patrick Mahomes got wheels. So Andy Reid will float that pocket left and right. We seen him do it with McFly. We seen him do it with Vic. We seen him do it with Foles. We seen him do it with my man Vince Young. So Andy Reid is an astute enough coach to figure this out. Steve Spagnuolo has the secret to the ooze to beat Tom Brady, in my opinion. If you don't believe, now you can say, "Oh man, they had the NASCAR package. They had Tuck and Strahan and that crew," but you still got to devise the game plan to get those dudes to do it. The Kansas City Chiefs got decent pass rush, decent to good pass rush. 4 nose guys out there. You got the Honey Badger who ain't gonna drop a whole lot. Honey Badger ain't finna do a whole lot of nothing until it counts. You might not even know he on the field until you see him running the other way. So I'm rocking with the Honey Badger. I'm thinking they gonna win like 38-14 because wasn't that Tom Brady that threw 3 interceptions against the racial slurs? No, 2. He threw 2 interceptions against the racial slurs. They ain't have a quarterback to capitalize. He threw 2 interceptions against the Ants. He threw 3 interceptions against the Aints. Drew Brees couldn't capitalize. He threw 3 interceptions against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers couldn't capitalize. You think you're going to give Tyreek Hill, Kelce, Watkins, and that kid from Georgia, along with Williams, my man from Pittsburgh, Le'Veon Bell, and Hilarious Bay, 3 extra opportunities, and they not going to show up? If they put that smoke on him, it's over. 38-14. That's why I think they're going to do it. Honey Badger, Super Bowl MVP. Because he going to get 2 of those 3.
Okay.
Because dude ain't got it no more. He going to play till he's 45. He going to play for about 45 minutes after the Super Bowl over. Then his wife going to tell him, you need to pack it up. Because when Ford and them get to putting that heat on him, I told you, man, if you watch that last Tampa If you watch Tampa versus Green Bay, that last interception he threw it like this. And when you throw an interception like that, turning away, you yelling to the defender, I ain't got it. Don't hit.
I ain't got it.
And before we wrap it up, I want to mention one more thing I heard on Microwave Show. If y'all want to hear some good stuff, man, Microwave got mad personality. He got mad knowledge. It's a fun show. Check him out, man. Him and Chief Rocker, they one and the same. They do it two different ways, but they one and the same. The homie Cool Sale called up, and he mentioned, he asked, I hope he's listening. He asked, what's the leverage that Deshaun Watson has over Houston, Texas? The leverage is withholding of service. If I don't show up and you got a new offensive-minded coach trying to institute a new game plan and I'm not there, I'm not going to catch up to this game plan. Let's say you force my hand. I ain't going to catch up to this game plan in week 6.
Right.
If I don't catch up to week 6, it's a whole season straight to head. I ain't showing up at none of the mini camps. Don't send me no playbook. Don't send me nothing. So I ain't going to be ready till week 6. So, and do you want a disgruntled guy do you want a disgruntled player that's in everybody's locker room, in your locker room, that everybody on his side, in your locker room? No, you don't. So that's the leverage. And as far as Le'Veon Bell, I don't think the Le'Veon Bell thing is a failure. More than any sport in the history, anything in the history of sports, a football player in the National Football League not taking extra hits and getting the same. Because remember, he wanted $16 million a year. He got that from the Jets. The Jets still paying Le'Veon Bell. That's why he took that short money with Kansas City. Because the Jets still paying him. Look, it sounds cute to fans. The cuddly, warm, we love these teams. We go buy hats, draws, socks, and coats for these teams. We love it. But this is about pay. My back hurt every morning. My knees hurt. My hands hurt some days. For free. If you on TV, you need to get as much money as you can. Because guess what? The owner is not going to stop making money. Jerry Jones, the last contract he signed Troy Aikman to was equivalent to what he bought the team for. You hear that? The last contract that Troy Aikman signed was equivalent to what Jerry Jones paid for the franchise. Get this. That franchise included the practice facility, the old stadium, and ownership of the team. So, and 12 years later, you can, well, actually probably about 8 years later, you can sign a dude for the amount that you paid for the franchise. It sound good. Yeah, we need rings and all that, but no, the brothers need to get paid. And I see Kirby made this statement. He won't throw one. That's a dude who thinking with his coochie. He not thinking with his head. Because Tom Brady has shown, if he's showing you nothing else, that he's giving up the ball this year. And that should exonerate Jameis Winston, because Tom Brady is throwing interceptions left and right in that same offense. So is Jameis Winston that bad, or is Tom Brady regress? With that being said, you walk out the dojo so I can lie.
All right, hey, thank you guys for tuning in with us, rocking with us for the day. Everybody continue to be safe out there. Wear your mask, wash your hands. See you all next week.
Oh wow, I just did a 2.5 hour show, something I haven't done in a very long time. Man, thank y'all for tuning in, man. Thank y'all. Please hit the like button on Instagram. Please hit the like button on Spreaker.com and share if you can. Please come to the YouTube page, hit the like button and share if you can. Thank you for tuning in for Built for This Network. Me, Buster, Chief Rocker Mooka, DJ Purplelicious, Show Killer, aka DJ Mad Knox, and myself. Cheers Roundtree. Cheers Roundtree, James Earl. Sorry for the disrespect, Big Illinois. Sorry for the disrespect, Kim. Sorry for the disrespect, Anu. First Lady, and anybody else who support and is a part of Built for this network. I salute you and thank you for the support. Thank you to the background listeners. Thank you to the people who came into the chat room besides LBGTQ Juice, Microwave, RC, Big Illinois, Mugadeen, Bussa, J-Ron, Microwave, Big Illinois, Lady J, my man Out West Chuck, DJ Chuck on Truth Radio, LBGTQ Kirby, and if my man Ben from BS3, his gift, Boogie, my girl Boogie, she killing it in Oak Park, Illinois, murdering the game. Much love. She part of the crew too. She married into the crew. She on the relationship side of the game. Much love. Man, continue to support Spreaker.com, Built for this network, X Squad Radio, MCDE, The Truth Radio. In about 9 minutes, go over to my sister, Girly Girl. Salute to Vince Wright. Salute to the sports governor of Minnesota. Salute to the barbershop. Salute to Deacon Dale. I mean, man, salute to the, we finna kick this, I'm gonna try to see if I get the brothers to kick this Black Spreaker movement off again, man. Cause we need to go ahead and get in on that, do this Black Spreaker thing. We rocking hard. And then, man, support the networks. D Great, I forgot D Great, Pretty Thick 69, my girl Sheila, aka Low Key, my girl, Jeanette Skynes, Wheezy, shout out to Wheezy, shout out to Michelle, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, man, everybody be supporting your boy, man. That's what it is, man. Aunt Mama, everybody, man. But with that being said, man, y'all know how I end each show. Did I say his gift? Yeah. You know how I end it. Saluting one of my favorite podcasters in the history of this podcast game, Reggie O'Shea, a.k.a. Combat Jack, by saying, dream those dreams and man up and woman up and live those dreams, because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor and surround sound. You know how I end each show. 2 fingers, 1 word. This is HRap, Joe from Houston, and Johnny Ringo wasn't feeling well. He'll be back next week. I'm out.
Network for the strong, not the weak.